Good job today, man. It's one at a time, and we'll get the job done. Y'all know what to say. On three. 1, 2, 3.
And the home of the Jets.
Good evening, everybody. Let's talk Jets the day after this miserable season finally ended. Bubs, what's up, man?
Tyson, how's it going? How's it going, everybody in the chat? Finally can put this 2025 season, this miserable year to bed, try and forget about it and move on to 2026. Although I think you and I and probably a lot of people in the chat feel the same about the direction with this head coach. And even with all the assets they have this offseason, it's going to be tough to buy into this plan and tough to buy into this team really doing anything next year because you don't feel great about the people in charge. So looking forward to diving into it tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at the positive. The Jets have number 2 pick in the draft. They have a lot of draft assets. They have a ton of cap space. And the overwhelming feeling is concern. And you're nervous because you don't really trust this coaching staff because I think the narrative that's bothering me the most is, well, the Jets were tanking at the end. Okay, what about the first 3 quarters of the season when they weren't tanking and they were grossly underachieving and their good players regressed, where they looked like they weren't being coached. They looked unprepared. They never had a game where you're like, wow, this is a very well-coached team, minus special teams. Like, I can't ignore that. You can't ignore the fact that they said, Justin Fields is our guy. We're going to build an offense around him and maximize his potential. That grossly failed. There's so many things you see. And then the coach says, trust me, I've done it before, when that's a lie. You've never done it before, Aaron Glenn. This is your first time being a head coach. This is your first time developing a team, developing a quarterback, developing an offense, and you failed throughout. So you haven't earned any trust or credibility. You talked about changing culture, installing leadership, and installing accountability. None of that's happened. The culture here is as it always was, losing, justifying losing, making excuses. And it's just a hamster wheel, dude. Like, the more he talks, the more you get visions of Robert Saleh, Todd Bowles, Adam Gase. It's nothing new. And then you look at how he started with his press conference to how he ended. I let the team down. I'm sorry. This, that. He looked spineless. He looked dazed. He looked confused. There are so many friggin' red flags that are impossible to ignore. It's impossible. So you want to bring him back? Great. But you cannot have any faith right now in anything the New York Jets are doing.
No, you can. And whatever they do in this offseason, at the end of the day, it's what they put out there on the field and the wins and losses, and they have to start winning games, and that's going to be eventually when you buy in, because he has given you no reason to believe that he is the right guy for this job. He's given you every reason to believe that we're going to be sitting here next year in January of 2027 probably searching for a new head coach, and I hope I'm wrong. And a lot of Jet fans that don't believe in Aaron Glenn, we all share the same sentiment. We hope that this team goes out there next year and turn this thing around, but from the moment he took over, where he was kind of cocky, kind of confident, we have good coaching. They handed Fields $30 million guaranteed, like you mentioned. He's never been coached properly. We're going to coach him up. Yep. He played the worst football of his career here. He talks so much about other players on this roster, Will McDonald in this defensive system, about coaching him up, and he's going to get better. He got worse. Jermaine Johnson got worse. Jamie and Sherwood got worse. We've gone through the long list of players that have gotten worse, and you really can't name any players that got better. That's even more alarming. Forget the players that got worse. Tell me you can't even count with 3 fingers probably the players that actually got better under this coaching staff, and that's the whole message to the tank crowd. They went into this year preaching win now. He said it couple days, that Friday press conference before they played Pittsburgh. We want to build a team that fans can be proud of. He then backtracked after that and said, that's not the goal for this season. That's the long-term future. Then it's let go of the rope, trust the process, trust me. Big ships take slow to turn. He used the Salah line. It's not an instant coffee league. So he went from win now, coaching, confident to starting 0-7. We have to pivot and then sell off pieces, then tank. Their goal going into this year wasn't to tank. You don't hand $30 million guaranteed to a quarterback to tank. Then they had to pivot, start tanking, start Brady Cook, tear this roster down because the coaching was so inept in the first 7 weeks. So that's where we're at. It's frustrating. It's very hopeless because you just feel like it feels like we're wasting the next 12 months. That's really what we feel like right now is the next year is just going to be a waste because you have no faith in them drafting and then developing that said quarterback in number 2. And you have no faith in them hitting these other picks either. So it's infuriating. It's unacceptable. But when you have a clown show of an owner, that's what you get year in, year out. Yeah,
you literally feel like you're delaying the inevitable. This time next year, you're going to be like, who's the next head coach of the New York Jets? And the funny thing is, the media did a good job. They literally asked him, can you explain to the fans why they should have hope in what you're doing? Because I have a plan. You got to trust me. No. So we have to ignore the entire year. And the problem is everybody's focusing on these last 4 games. I go well beyond that. And now it's like what New York Jets are going to do is they're going to double down on their mistake. They're going to bring Aaron back and say, you know what? Okay, you completely botched your hires here. You hired a lot of wrong people. We're going to give you a second chance to build your staff and save your ass. If you don't, you're going to be fired next year. So the problem you're going to have is, okay, everybody, go get Jonathan Allen, Jonathan Gannon, go get Raheem Morris, go get all these coaches. Why in the hell would they want to come coach with Aaron Glenn, who's totally down the hot seat? They're not going to want to. It sounds great. Oh, go get this. It's just, I have a hard time believing that Glenn could put together any kind of staff. There's a rumor now he may hire a senior offensive assistant. Yeah. He should do. Can't wait to see who that is.
Did it last year.
This is all it's like you're letting him fix all his mistakes. So basically, this is like a redshirt year. Yeah. Go ahead and destroy all the things you want. You have another chance to do it this year, and maybe you get it right. Maybe when he's never done it before. So now you got to hope he gets a quality defensive coordinator. He gets some help on offense, and then they nail the draft, they nail free agency, and they can actually coach this team up. That's a lot of ifs. Yeah. And then you're adding the potential of having, maybe Dante Moore, number 2 pick in the draft, and grooming him. Yeah. It's like it's so hard to buy into, especially when you see coaches that could become available. People may like Stefanski or not. I like Stefanski, but he's going to have probably his pick whatever job he wants. If a coach like John Harbaugh becomes available, the Jets have to do everything in their power to go get him. You have to. This is and everyone's like, oh, well, John Harbaugh didn't do this. Do you know how bad we are? We can't win more than 5 fucking games. To get a coach that wins 9 or 10 games a year and makes the playoffs and rebuild your organization, that's going to do enormous things for this team. When you have this young, impressionable team that all they know is losing. That's it. But the Jets won't do that. And it's going to drive me crazy, dude, because you're going to have a chance to get a guy like that, and they're not going to. And it's going to bite them in the ass once again.
Yeah, it's similar to Harbaugh with the Chargers, Jim Harbaugh, that is, of course.
Sean
and
Payton.
Even with Sean Payton, when they moved on from Hackett after year 1, they knew he wasn't the guy. They didn't even let him get the full year. That's such a similar situation we're in. It feels like we're going to be here next season where Harbaugh
100%.
Gets fired, he goes elsewhere. He has success elsewhere. And the Jets this time next year are going to miss out on Stefanski, miss out on Harbaugh, miss out on all these candidates that are becoming available because they wanted to stick with Glenn for no reason other than Woody just doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah, and he doesn't want to admit his mistake this early. And that's why they've been at the bottom of the NFL for 15 years, haven't had a winning season in 10 years. And Glenn's press conference yesterday, I know you mentioned a little bit, was so embarrassing. And I know him and Muji will speak tomorrow, and they'll probably embarrass themselves even more because they'll preach this great plan that they have that nobody believes in. But he literally stood up there and said, trust me, have faith. And he said, I've been there, done that. That got me so angry to no end because what do you mean you've been there, done that? I'm so sick of hearing, I was in Cleveland. I was in New Orleans. I was in Detroit. Yeah. As a defensive coordinator, as an assistant DB's coach, and as a DB's coach, you were never there as a head coach. You've never built up a team as a head coach. Oh, I know Bill Parcells. I played for the Jets. I don't care. You have proven nothing as a head coach. The only thing you've proven as a head coach is that you have 3 wins. The team was poorly coached, and your mindset and the way you carried yourself before the season to where you are now is very similar to how we've seen a lot of coaches melt here over time. He's lost. He's so lost. He's shown you nothing. And it's hope. Hope is not evidence. Hope is not a actual thing to grasp onto as to why somebody should be here for another year, or so why somebody should be a coach, or why somebody should stick around. It's not like this is literally the 2024 offseason all over again. How many times do we say, hopefully Saul learns from his mistake? You have to hope that this team can become more disciplined. Hopefully Rodgers can rebound. All this hope. They won 5 games. Win 3 games this year. All this hope. What, 5 wins next year?
But the thing is, like, we didn't ask for a lot. It's just be competitive and improve as the season played out. Aaron Glenn accomplished one thing. He took good players and made them worse. Yep. To the point right now, they're like, do we pick up Will McDonald's option? What the hell is Jermaine Johnson? Is Jermaine Sherwood the worst contract of all time? Like, we're wondering about what are these, like, the young building blocks we thought we had are now question marks. So Aaron Glenn could say, hey, you know what? This guy's fit my system. He can ship out these guys too, which, hey, you know what? Ship everybody out. I don't care. We could be losing talent that could actually be good. They're just being poorly coached. And that's another problem. But the other thing too is now there's rumors like, you know what? You free agents probably don't want to come here. You have coaches probably don't want to come here. Draft picks may not want to come here. Dante Moore could be like, you know what? I'm good, dude. I'm going to make, $8-9 million in Oregon this year. I'm going to go back to schools. I don't want to deal with the Jets. People think it's crazy. It doesn't surprise me. The Jets have an enormous stench around them. Meddling owner, losing franchise that cannot get out of their own way. Yeah. What is it? 15 years, no playoffs, or 16, 10 years, no, like all these things, dude, where it's just like, they're literally the laughing stock of the NFL that nobody wants to be involved in unless you're forced to.
Yeah, and they have a lame duck as head coach as well. Talk about just the meddling owner, throw Glenn on top of that as well. And yeah, there's been some concerning reports. Now I know the Todd McShay clip that's been surfacing. He's close with Douglas, and he has talked a lot of bad since Douglas left. I think they were college roommates. But even Connor Rogers, I think a week ago on his draft show, he's obviously very tied in with the Jets and the draft. Talked about agents are kind of afraid of their players going to the Jets. Like it's a real thing in terms of free agents not wanting to come here, draft picks, and you mentioned it, defensive coordinator. Who's going to want to come here when there's a good chance that they're cleaning house this time next year? Because let's be honest. They won 3 games, right? You have to probably win 7 or 8 games next year, convincingly show progress to bring this staff back. You're telling me that they're winning 5 more games than they did this year? I just don't see it. And then you missed the playoff. I'm just so sick of these 4-year plans when you see Broncos turn around, Texans turn around, Chargers turn around, Jaguars turn around, the Bears turn around. All these teams turn around 1 year, and the Jets just have these throwaway seasons, a wasted year like this year, a redshirt season, win 7 games next year, and year three. How often in the Saleh era do we hear about year three, 2027, 3 first-round picks, 2027 will be our year. We're back in this. We're like 2 years away from being 2 years away. It's the same cycle.
Yep. And the most telling part out of all this would be which of these players actually want to come back. They're all saying the right thing. John Simpson said all the right things, but how many players, when they truly have a chance to test free agency, want to come back? Like Breece Hall, I unless the Jets tag Breece Hall, he's gone, dude. I think he wants out of here big time, which means the Jets completely screwed the pooch because they could have traded him the trade deadline and actually got value for him. They didn't do that. But I think a lot of these guys don't even want to be here anymore. Like, you know what? I'm good. So there's so many different things that the Jets have to fall in their favor, which I don't see happening. I just don't. Because you got to hope this defensive coordinator is going to be really good. Hope this, hope that. And it's just hope
the changes on the offense. Yeah, hope they hit the offensive staff changes as well. They're going to have to completely probably overhaul the offensive staff. And that's great. But do we even trust Tanner Engstrand either? Has he even shown you enough to come back and shown you enough to develop a rookie quarterback? Please tell me Tanner Engstrand's background on developing good young quarterbacks. None.
They literally have none.
Nope. And Glenn doesn't either.
That's like, I can't wait for the press conference tomorrow because they really have pinpoint. Okay, you're talking about this plan. You keep telling us what you've accomplished. You've never done it before. Yep. Tell us you're ready to develop. Say you're number 2. You're ready to develop Dante Moore. Okay. Tell me, Aaron Glenn, what quarterback you've groomed in your lifetime. We'll wait. We know the answer to that. It's just, man, it is just, I'm an old fan, dude. We've been through a lot. The Gase tank year, the light at the end of the tunnel was we were firing everybody, we're starting over. This year, we tanked to hand over all these assets to his staff, Aaron Glenn, who seems like he's thoroughly in over his head. Yesterday's press conference was it for me. Like he looked like I'm looking on the sideline yesterday. He gave you that stare of a Jets coach that's battered, beaten, and just knows that it's never going to change. He had that look. Yep. The fire was gone. The passion was gone. He did more talking to himself on the sideline than he did to any player on his roster. You can see he's just like, he keep mumbling to himself. And we've seen it. Saleh did it. Bowles did it. Gase did it. It's like, the time is coming where you're not going to be here any longer. And now they're going to double down and bring him back again. It just makes no sense.
Yeah, it's that classic stare of a Jets coach, especially a first-time Jets coach that realizes, oh, crap, I'm so in over my head. I just won 3 games. I'm already on the hot seat, and I've got one off season to fix this thing.
And I have no answer.
It's the typical stare. Yeah, exactly. I'm so overwhelmed. And in the way the best way to tell, because we saw it with Robert Saleh, is the backtracking in the press conferences. Last week against New England, to go out there after the game and talk about effort was an issue. And then to come back the next day and say it wasn't an issue because guys were running on and off the field. Going back to that Jacksonville game, talking about how they were stopping the run when Jacksonville's backups were down 48-20. That's pathetic. Pathetic. You came in here preaching accountability, competition, and you're praising the team for stopping another team's backups. That's how low the bar is now. It's a joke.
No, and again, we know it's a fairly good chance Aaron Glenn's coming back next year, and that's fine. Yep. I mean, this is what we have to deal with, and we have to hope they figure it out. But this is, for me personally, as a Jet fan, all the years we've been dealing with this is the absolute rock bottom for me.
Yeah.
There's not even close, as bad as it gets, because you just have no faith, you have no belief, and you have so many concerns. And it's like the Jets haven't found a quarterback in forever. You're gonna count on this guy to do it, who already blew it with Justin Fields. You know what I mean? It's just like it's hard to buy. And then if John Harbaugh becomes available and they don't even make a play for him, it's just like you just can't. We're never gonna get out of our own way. It's just there's no way. There's nothing. It's just nothing. There's nothing with this team. Like right now, if you're a season ticket holder, and this fucking team keeps putting commercials on TV.
I know they did it yesterday for get your 2026 green plan or whatever it was. That
like right now, if you're a season ticket holder, you've lost so much money over the years. You're getting no return on your investment. The Jets raise ticket prices. What exactly, other than spending time with your family, are you going to the stadium for next year? What are you going for? Do you have any faith this team's going to win more than 4 or 5 games? I don't give a shit who they bring in. Like, there's nothing. There's nothing to buy into. You can't be like, oh, we have a great offense. Oh, we have a great defense. Oh, we have 5-star players. But no, we literally have, as of today, they have no face in a franchise. Maybe Garrett Wilson. That's it. There's nothing here.
No. The coach is certainly not. The coach is supposed to be the face of it. He's certainly lost. Garrett Wilson, that's it. And you don't, and the quarterback, like, you don't trust him to get the quarterback right. You probably won't even start right away. Yeah, I mean, there is no reason to, because there's no return on your investment.
But here's the other thing too. I'll go on this bold fucking hot take as a podcaster. Okay, number 2 pick in the draft. I'm telling you right now, in my uneducated football mind, Fernando Mendoza, cool. Dante Moore, Ty Simpson, whoever else, not day 1 starters. They're not. The Jets at pick number 2 have guys that are going to be projects that are going to need grooming. They take time. It's not going to be like, hey, you know what? We can start. No, you're going to say you need 2 veteran quarterbacks, and Dante Moore could sit for 10 weeks and not just sit there and just learn, hopefully by a quality coaching staff, because there's no savior in the draft right now. Come save the Jets franchise. They're not there to start day 1 next year. They're not. And the Jets, and my fear is Woody Johnson, the asshole that he is, needs to sell tickets. He needs to sell some kind of vision. If he comes out and says, you know, we got to play Dante Moore day 1, it's exactly how you screw things up. We saw it with Zach Wilson. You definitely sucked. Like even the picking of Dante Moore and how they handle him, if it is him, will make you nervous. Just how they handle him and groom him and not rush him into action too soon, or don't develop him, or don't put the pieces around him in the proper. Even that makes you nervous.
Yeah, it does. It makes you very nervous. And what makes you even more nervous is the potential of, okay, Dante Moore sits 10 games next year. Insert whatever veteran, Mariota, Will Levis, or not Will Levis, I'm sorry, the quarterback from Green Bay.
Malik
Willis. Slip whatever veteran you want in there. Plays for 10 games. Dante Moore comes out, plays for the final 7, whatever, 5, whatever. The Jets win 4 games. Glenn's out. Now he has to learn a new scheme, new coaching staff. Then does that coaching staff want him? Like it's and then 2027, do they then take another quarterback? It's such a mess. It's all so avoidable. This franchise is always reactive instead of proactive. This could be the one time they could be proactive. This owner could be proactive, and he won't be.
No, this is one of the rare times the Jets organization is marketable to a head coach. When you have all this cap space, a number 2 pick in the draft, all this draft assets, and all this cap space to really mold your own team and your vision, this is one of the only times the Jets are marketable, and they're not going to take advantage of it. So we'll take calls, man, because I'm disgusted. You're not getting any positivity out of me today. You're not. I don't care. Call me a hater. Call me miserable. I don't give a shit because I can't buy into this. I can't. No. And I don't see them hiring Jonathan Gannon as the defensive coordinator or Raheem Morris or Wink Martindale. I hope they do. I'm hoping they do. I don't see it happen. So, John, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, Tyson? What's up, Bubs? How you guys doing?
How's it going?
Yeah.
What a season this has been, man.
I know. I can't even fathom, guys. Like the first team in NFL history to have 0 defensive interceptions. Like, can you really fathom that? I personally just can't even fathom that. That's absolutely ridiculous, especially coming from a defensive coach like Aaron Glenn.
Yep.
It's the worst point differential in December in NFL history. And look, I know Brady Cook was starting. I get it. He's an undrafted free agent. But still, I mean, come on, give us something. It can't be the worst in history, man. This is pathetic.
The other thing, too, is like, all right, you fire Steve Wilkes. The fact that Aaron Glenn didn't step in earlier to fix the defense, that's his background, defense, is a problem. And when it was that bad, instead of giving it to Chris Harris, like, you know what, I'm taking over play calling. I want to take over. I want to control my team. He handed it to somebody else and continued to let it fall apart. Like, he didn't take any hands-on approach at all.
That's what I'm saying. Isn't that what the head coach is supposed to do? Like, you're literally the head coach of the team. If something's going wrong, especially with the defensive play calling, aren't you kind of supposed to take over? But like you guys were saying earlier, he had the Saleh stare, the Bowles stare. It's like, that's when I knew yesterday when he was just staring off with the blank face. I knew that he's like, yeah, this might never turn around. Even though he says in the press conferences, it'll turn around. Trust me, bro. That's what he says. But it's like, but the thing is, if he had, like, if we were playing it, like, you're seeing young players improve, you're seing all these great things. Like, all right, you know what? I could buy into this. Yep. You didn't see that. Okay, the offensive line didn't get hurt. Okay, great. But like, you develop no receivers. You develop nobody else. It's just. No, I feel like the Jets every year, too, they always draft a receiver like the 3rd or 4th round. They never pan out. I mean, maybe Arian Smith will figure it out. Who knows? But I just feel like every year they always draft like a receiver that late in the draft that they're like, oh, that could be like the special pick in the draft. Maybe he'll work out. And it never works out. And another thing I wanted to mention was just in the interviews yesterday, some of the players just look lifeless. And I love Jermaine Johnson when they moved up in the first a couple years ago to draft him. I was so excited we got him. Yep. But now he just looks completely lifeless. He's taken a step back as a player. Yep. It's just like, dude, at the beginning of the season, I really liked Aaron Glenn and his vision, but I just don't know, man. I think it's like
this is the culture that you're worried about. The culture of the stench of Saleh rolled into this locker room now, where Jermaine Johnson's like, you know what? I know what this is. Like, he's part of like this is just it's the same old Jets again, and it even like demoralized him. And Aaron Glenn didn't change it. No, there is no culture change here.
Got worse.
They quit. They did. They
got worse.
Yeah. The team's gotten worse throughout the year. I mean, like I said, I know Brady Cook started the last 5 games, but it's just. The effort's definitely gone south, and then Glenn backtracking when he said the effort wasn't there. It's just it's not normal head coach stuff. But honestly, I think it ultimately comes down to Woody Johnson. Yep. And I think ultimately he's either going to have to sell the team, or I don't think this will ever happen, but the NFL would have to step in and get rid of him just because it's so bad at this point. 15 years in the New York market, no playoffs. It's not good for the league, honestly.
Nope. No, this goes back to the Leon Hess stage where they had to make a bold move for Bill Parcells because the whole Cotai experience was so bad. The Jets were at rock bottom. Like, they were going nowhere. They needed a monumental effort to get Bill Parcells in the building to completely change it. That's where the Jets are at now. They need that like big figurehead that has credibility, respect to take over and change it. And that's what's going to change the culture. Not this guy talking big, acting like he's demoralized for the last 5 weeks and then cursing in his last press conference. Oh, like shit this, shit that. Like, bro, you're trying to act tough. You look dazed and confused. You're not confused. Nobody's buying it anymore. The players aren't buying it. The fans aren't buying it. The media's not buying it.
No. How he led with the media at the beginning of the season, that was ultimately a mistake. I mean, he never really should have gone like that far with them. He should just kept it neutral and see where it went from there. But he decided to be all negative, and then it went from there and it went downhill.
Yeah, man. Thanks for calling, man. We appreciate it.
Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
Have a good one.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those shows. Like, I know, like people listen to this on podcast networks. We have to get it out tonight because this is like the end of the season. Express all our concerns. We'll react to the press conference tomorrow, which I'm sure will be a complete debacle. There's no way they can talk about anything that makes any sense unless they fire some coaches and do some other things. But this is where we're at. This is the state of the Jets. The worst team in the NFL, the laughing stock with more questions than answers and so many concerns. Like, it's not even exaggerating. Like, you look at like how many players wear the Jets? A lot. It's not like one or two. Look, like 10.
Yeah, I was looking through the roster earlier today, and we could even do this as the show goes on, but just trying to like look at the actual building block pieces offensively, defensively, and really how many holes there are. Yeah, obviously not gonna be able to fill all of them in one offseason. It's crazy how many there's so many holes, and a lot of it is like a lot of guys got worse from this staff, from this season that have now created holes that you didn't think you now have.
We created them.
Yeah, exactly. And to John's point, it was a good call. And to his point about the media, that's something else that's been a bad look with Glenn. Like, he came out all this, chest bumped out, he came in here like he's won a Super Bowl, playoffs, all this nonsense. And now he's like a turtle going back under his shell where he's all quiet. Oh, we got to fix this. Trust me, please trust me. He looks like a clown. He's embarrassing himself. It really is what it is.
No. And like, again, the building blocks we thought we had actually regressed. Like Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson, Jamie Sherwood, Quincy Williams is going to be gone. Like, all these pieces you thought were actually pieces are just, they're probably going to be gone. It's just wild. What's up, man? How you doing?
What's up, Buzz?
How's it going?
Yeah, you couldn't have put it better, man. I have no faith in this team next year.
Nope.
No faith.
It's impossible.
It's and then drafting a quarterback in the first, second round. Who's going to develop him, really?
Yeah, you worry about developing.
You're clearly going to waste
playing
your
him too
draft pick,
soon.
man. I have no faith that they'll develop a quarterback or even find the right person to develop the quarterback.
Nope.
And then, just like you said, Sherwood, Quincy Sherwood was the worst signing ever I've seen so far. Like, dude, he is bad, man. He is bad. I don't know what they saw in him. Like, yeah, he played a few games for us last year when Mosley was here and stuff like that. But Mosley just made him look better because he'd come in 3 or 4 drives and he looked okay, I don't know. This Glenn, though, man, Glenn himself, talking about he's going to go to work tomorrow. What work tomorrow? There ain't no work tomorrow. What are you talking about?
He should have been working the last 3 months.
Dude, he sounds like a clown. He sounds like a clown. He did, just like you said, it's so bad. It's so bad.
He's literally talking himself out of a job. Like, if his coaching wasn't bad enough, the things he's saying, he's actually making it worse for himself because from where he started to where he is. And the players see this. And this thing is all about the culture, changing the culture. The players are watching you melt as you lose, as you try to pivot. They all see it.
He's definitely changing the culture, just not for the right way.
It's making it worse.
He's making it so bad.
It's wild.
Brady Cook. Okay, yeah, undrafted free agent. Yeah. Dude, you can't put that all on him. How come every NFL team puts their undrafted free agent or their 4th-string quarterback and they can make play? Dude, 11 yards in the first half, man. What's he doing in the NFL if he's that bad?
Look at Riley Leonard. Was a 6th-round pick for the Colts. Was lighting it up yesterday.
Dude, it's just this organization. I just don't understand. I don't understand. We're the laughing stock of the NFL right now.
And to be fair, that's another thing they blew too, where it's like, all right, you had Tyrod Taylor, the veteran, you had Justin Fields. They were probably counting on Jordan Travis to not have take a 5th or 6th round flyer on a quarterback to at least have in the building. You could be entering next year with no quarterbacks on a roster. Fields gone, Tyrod gone, and Brady Cook's a practice squad. No quarterback.
They made Tyrod look bad, man. They made Tyrod look bad.
They did.
He couldn't even play good.
It's a mess.
What do you do here? What do you do? What do you waste your draft picks on defense? Because you definitely you have no defense. None. I don't even know who any of those players were yesterday.
Nope.
Sam Womack.
But even when they had the guys we knew, the guys we knew when they were playing were getting their asses kicked, blown off the ball, couldn't stop the pass, couldn't stop the run. It wasn't like they ever had a period they played good. They didn't.
No. It was like I said last week. Dude, these last 5 weeks, they do not belong in the NFL. They don't.
And how many times in the offseason did Glenn talk about we're going to fix the tackling, right? Physical training camp, we're going to fix the tackling. Tackling's still a problem.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go because my daughter came out. She snuck out here and saw me. So
Have a good night, man.
Later, man.
Have a good one.
But that's the thing. Think about all the things he promised. Oh, and and the other thing too is he had these physical practices. He had this hard-nosed approach and got no results. That's what the players don't buy in. If you have that approach and you see significant improvement in your play, all right, coach, I'll buy in. We train fighters, dude. If you have a very physical fight camp and they get great results, these guys will train their asses off. If you wear them down on fight night, they're tired, they lose, they don't do well, dude, they are not going to buy into your system. They're going to be completely out. That's another risk Aaron Glenn took by his hard-nosed approach. 3-14, worst team in the NFL. Good luck implementing your program now.
Yeah. And I'm so sick of hearing him talking about identity, playing our brand of football. He said that actually before the New England game when they asked him about all the backups playing. He's like, they understand our brand of football. What's your brand of football? There is no identity on this team. Another year goes by where we don't have an identity offensively or defensively. They're losing the battle in the trenches. A perfect sign of just a weak team and a weak culture is losing the battle in the trenches. How many years now through all these bad coaches have the Jets been poor in the trenches? Now, offensive line-wise, they've been better this year. But defensive line-wise, they were awful. Bad tackling. There's no physicality. There's no thumper. We talked about this during the middle of the season. There's not that thumper, that hard hitter on this defense, that heart and soul on this defense. There's not that. Mosley was kind of that, but they need more of that. And I think the Sherwood thing, too, is even more of a whole for the whole Tank thing. Because everyone talks about, oh, well, Sherwood's from the previous regime. So then why did they extend him? If they thought Sherwood, why did they extend him then? They wouldn't have extended Sherwood if they didn't obviously believe in him. They obviously believed in him and they extended him. He's gotten worse.
They paid him to be a captain, leader of the defense, and a tackling machine, and an absolute asset and building block. And he was the worst. He was an absolute liability to alarming fashion. Where you thought he was gonna be a rising star in the NFL. He's now a guy you can't wait to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
But that's why there's so many things where it's like you can focus on little things. All right, offensive line, this okay. But there's so many things that you're like, wow, this is bad. This is bad. It's just crazy, man. What's up, Jordan? How you doing, man?
Doing all right. When Aaron Glenn got hired, I wasn't really a huge fan. I was like, are we really going to do this again? Get another defensive-minded head coach? We've done this a million times. It's never worked out. Why are we doing this again? And it's been even worse than I imagined.
Yep.
I didn't have high expectations. I remember when I was doing my fantasy football draft, my friends were like, Jordan, you're a Jets fan. What do you think the Jets are going to be this year? And I was like, they're going to be terrible. First-time defensive head coach. We lost Rodgers, which is a down compared to Fields. And it was just like this team. But it was even worse than I imagined. No one improved. Yep. And Aaron Glenn, he's a defensive-minded head coach. And the defense of players just keep looking worse and worse. None of them have gotten better. And no one on the offense. The only guy who's a real coach is Chris Banjo. Everyone else fucking sucks.
It's well said. I mean, there's nothing else to say. I
think Glenn's done well.
You get excited for the number 2 pick in the draft, and you're like, well, I hope they don't destroy it. You can make a case to trade and get more picks because they need so many more players. And the more I think about it, it's like Aaron Glenn's fastest way to win is get a veteran quarterback. Go get your Kyler Murray or your Malik Willis, something like that, because I think he probably realizes that a rookie quarterback's not going to give him 7 or 8 wins next year. He's probably going to be fired. So I hope that this organization doesn't act in desperation to save their jobs in year 2. Because if you handle that with these assets, it sets you back 2 more years. There's so many ways this can go wrong, and not many ways where it can go right.
And I was kind of even conflicted about. I think trading the players under normal conditions, you got a good return for them. But I was kind of conflicted at the time that they did them because I was like, I don't know if I want to give Glenn another year, and I don't want him having any excuses. If he has his entire team, it's less excuses for him to make right now, so we can make the decision: fire this guy or keep him. Yep. And I think even with getting rid of them, they should fire him. I mean, to me, it's unquestionable, and there's no hope for 2026. But I just hate the mentality of oh, no one wants to come here. Oh, the Jets are tanking, and that's what it's just loser mentality. The only way the Jets are going to improve is cut off the head, and we need to restart with a new coach. And we're just going. 2026 is already over if we don't fire Glenn. next year's going to be another shitty year.
I agree with
teams turn it around in 1 year, and it's just so frustrating. You look at the Jags, you look at the Patriots, you look at all these teams. They turn it around in 1 fucking year,
Houston,
and
Texans.
you could tell if the coach is the guy or not. And Glenn's not the fucking guy.
Nope. No, because you had 1 full year, and the offense was worse and the defense was worse. Okay, great. Special teams is great. Banjo is great. Yeah. But the most important thing, when he inherited this job, you wanted to make a bad defense better and actually establish an offense. He didn't do either. Literally nothing. Like, you can't be like, well, this defense is physical, it's nasty. No, none of that. We have no quarterback on the roster. You have a lot of questions that your play. Brees is going to probably be gone. You need a ton of receiving help. It's a mess, man. It's just, I cannot believe we're here, and I cannot believe we're going to sit here and be like, all right, let's run it back. Give him another chance when he hasn't earned it. It makes, there's so, logically, it doesn't make any sense. Like, if this was our job, like, we're the corporate world, if we're like a president of a company and we're losing millions and millions and millions of dollars, and we're like, you know what? Let's get 1 more year. Why you wouldn't take that chance? Like, no, we're going to cut our losses. Like, it's a sunk cost. Cut our losses now, move on, and try something else. Not hire a different defensive coordinator. No, get a different head coach.
100% agree. Thank you for letting me vent my frustrations. Enjoy the show, and I'll talk to you later.
Have a good night.
Where we going?
No, man, this is what it's all about, though. This is where we're at. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just.
Yeah, and you're spot on with that in terms of the defense. And 2 things going into the year that we talked about, and this is why I don't even agree with the whole tank thing either, is I had him at 7 wins. I think you were in a similar range. I think the most negative, like the lowest point on the Jet win total this year was probably like 5, and like the most optimistic fan was maybe 8 or 9. Nobody had him winning 10 games, and I'm sure there were some people that had him, 2-3 wins, whatever. But 7 obviously sounds crazy. But I had him at 7-10. But the whole goal was from the Pittsburgh game to the Buffalo game, you saw progress. You wanted to see from the moment they walked off the field yesterday, in a perfect world, they were getting better, and you could really feel like there was a plan in place. Things were getting better, a direction going into the offseason. The Pittsburgh game was their best game of the year. It's all been downhill ever since.
Yep.
And to your point about the defense, like, we went into this year, and the path for the Jets to be competitive was, I have a top 12 defense, top 12 special teams, and just be average offensively. The special teams was elite. You give a ton of credit to Chris Banjo. Obviously, Glenn made that hire. That's one of the only good things he has done. The only good thing he has done was hiring him. So you give Banjo credit, but the defense was terrible and the offense was terrible. So like the defense got worse, the offense got worse. So 2 of the 3 phases of the football were worse, and the path to this team being better was worse. And how often did Glenn talk about in the offseason? He went back to the Eagles, how they weren't a great passing offense with a good rushing offense. All he talked about was running the football, building an identity. It can have success in the NFL, and they were awful. And he stood up on this pedestal all offseason, pumping his chest out about it's gonna work. Our plan is perfect, and all the plan has is a bunch of holes in it.
Yep, and Brian makes a really good point here where it says there's no leadership, no respect, or pride for the green and white. The pride thing bothers me too, where this team had no fight, it had no pride. The only thing you saw was Membu. Membu had more pride than half the team, and Isaiah Williams. You had one of those players getting pushed on the ground, nobody's picking them up. Like, all the things that Glenn talked about changing, being proud to wear the green and white, being proud to be a Jet, all this shit he talked about didn't happen either. These guys all became zombies, used to the same old losing, giving up. You're like, I can't wait for the season to be over. I know we can't win. I have no faith in this coaching staff. None of that changed either. You need legit dogs on this roster, guys that hate losing, but you also need dogs in the coaching staff too that hate losing and have some fire and passion too, and hold people accountable. Like Glenn was like, he's like all bark, no bite. He barked at all these great press conferences, and when push came to shove, he melted like cheese. He did. And now the players see it, and they all like Jermaine Johnson. You mentioned Jermaine Johnson looks like he's a shell of himself. He's quiet, he's demoralized, and they're trying to say the corporate the speaking points the Jets give them. So tomorrow when the bigger names come in, they're going to get the talking points. Say I believe in the coach. Say I believe in the plan. We're going to play our brand of Jet football. When they use the same keywords, they've been coached to say it. Our brand of Jet football. We know our coach is a leader. All this bullshit. When they don't believe it. We're not fucking stupid. They're probably getting little notes. All right, study these notes and say them tomorrow at the press conference because they're all saying the same thing. and nobody believes it because they're all going to be leaving. They're not going to stay here.
Yeah, and it's going to be the same for Glenn and Muji. They're going to say the same thing. Believe in our plan, all this draft capital, all this stuff. When our brand of Jets football was 3 wins, that was our brand of Jets football.
Our brand of football.
It's such a historically bad. 1933, they've been tracking interceptions. 1933, they didn't get an interception. Mitch Trubisky was begging the Jets to pick a football off yesterday, and they couldn't do it. Unreal.
He had a pass early on in the game where they just couldn't secure it, and you just knew that. It was
Quincy Williams could have had one too, and he dropped it, him right in his hand. But like, it's just, but even that, like, you look at the comedy of that, like, just think about it. Aaron Glenn was an all-pro defensive back. Like, and his team can't get interceptions. It's just the jokes write themselves at this point, and we're all paying the price for it because it's just it's disaster after disaster, bad point, and we're running it back. And Jack, I can't buy into it, man. I can't buy into the plan. They've got to overwhelm.
Well, there is no plan. You assume there's a plan. There's no plan. There's no plan. Aaron Glenn looked completely lifeless yesterday in the press conference. He just had. Bubs, you hit the nail on the head. It was just like the guy is in over his head, and he has no idea how to dig the organization out of this. This problem is bigger than Aaron Glenn. It's bigger than anyone who's not a Harbaugh, a Parcells. That kind of ego needs to come in here and just completely gut the culture. Like when Parcells came in here, they were ripping pictures off the wall. They changed the logo. I mean, you had like longtime people in the PR department who were being escorted out of the building. It was like there was no detail that he didn't cover to change everything in the organization. And it reminds me a little bit of like the only comparison I can come up with for the Jets as an organization is the Indiana football team, right? They had the losingest college football program. And if you go through their Pro Football Reference and look through the losses that they have, it's 150 years of nonstop losing. And Curt Cignetti walked into the building and he said, you could just feel it. And every employee that was there, it was, and that's why he went in guns blazing, kind of the cocky attitude. And, they haven't lost in, I don't know how long, but that type of personality needs to come in here and change the culture. Aaron Glenn is not it.
But we knew this during the hiring cycle. We knew this. Before they hired Aaron Glenn, every Jet fan throughout this world said, we do not want a first-time head coach here because this job is going to be too big for them. They're going to get eaten up and spit out. We all said it. And what did the Jets do? We know better than you do. We're going to go this route. And it blew up in their face once again. And you're at that point. You're absolutely right. You're at a point now where this job is too big for most coaches. You need a top-level head coach. Give him part ownership. I don't care. You probably have to at this point. But your Harbaughs, I can take Tomlin at this point. Don't care. But it's a guy that players all respect, that has relationships all throughout the NFL, that can put together a quality staff, and that players actually want to play for. Right now, they just got to beg players. They're going to overpay them and beg them to come here because nobody wants to come here anymore. I don't give a shit when anybody tells me you're a 3-14 team with an angry fan base and angry media base and no chance of making the playoffs. Why?
Yeah. I mean, go back through that list of candidates that they interviewed this last cycle. I think it was 15. There's not one name on that list that would materially be different than what Aaron Glenn is doing. And this is the world that Woody operates in, right? Like, he's never ponied up for a head coach. I mean, he is paying Aaron Glenn $10 million a year, which when you look across the league, it's like top third head coach money. And it's like, why is that money going to Aaron Glenn? Like, I think it's genuinely that Woody likes the story. He's a former Jet. I think Woody actually genuinely likes Aaron Glenn. And I have a theory on this, is that you look at the previous head coaches that Woody had in the room. It's like Saleh. Say what you want about Saleh. On his side of the ball, he's a good coach. Mangini, Rex, Adam Gase, all of those guys were really – he can't talk ball with those guys. I think Woody can sit there and talk ball with Aaron Glenn and not feel like he's in over his head. And he's going, oh, I know what this guy's saying. Finally, a coach I can relate to,
It's there's no, I don't have answers. Like, I mean, I'm hoping that they can hire, like, they can go get Wink Martindale and stuff like that. You hope. But now my plans hope too, because it's a possible, like, as a fan, you want something to hang your hat on. And there's nothing. Like, I'm giving up. I mean, I'm like, all right, just.
again, like the Raheem Morris as a defensive coordinator, because there's a relationship there. Why is Raheem Morris coming here and uprooting his family for probably a year?
Yeah.
And he's gonna be
that's
packed.
exactly
He's gonna be living out of a hotel in Hempstead, or not Hempstead, but somewhere in New Jersey.
Florham Park,
Like it's no one with any self-respect or options going to come here. And Woody's going to do what he always does, which is, he's going to find. I see reports now they're going to bring in an offensive assistant to help Tanner Engstrom.
You should did that last year.
And it's like, okay, you're going to pay someone. They do this all the time. They did it with Tom Moore. You remember when he was parading around 85 years old or whatever he was?
John Beck.
Joe Namath coming in, teaching Sanchez how to fucking take a snap from under center. It's like they bring in all this stuff because it's a short-term Band-Aid. He doesn't have to fire the head coach, throwing a bone to the fans. But none of this is going to change, man. None of it's going to change. I still, I'm in the minority here, but like, I still think there's a chance that Aaron Glenn gets fired.
I mean,
even after like, even with,
don't.
It's funny because when they got blown out again yesterday, I was thinking that there's like a chance, but like even with I feel like now with the press conference tomorrow, there's no chance that he does the end.
Who's in that press conference? Is that Aaron Glenn doing the press conference?
Yeah, I think Glenn and Muji, yeah.
But the thing is, I'm kind of with Jack to a little point because this has been so bad. The backlash has been so bad where everybody's pounding on the Jets. Like even their most vocal supporters are out. And you have analysts everywhere saying they're bad. Like everywhere.
The only people who are not calling or predicting that Aaron Glenn will be fired is Mike Tannenbaum, who 2013 placed Aaron Glenn there, right? Yep. So he got a few $1 million for that. And then it's all the beat writers, right? And the beat writers are not in a position to even suggest that Aaron Glenn should be fired because the textbook says firing a head coach after 1 year is bad, and everyone deserves a chance to implement their system, all that. And it's also the hand that feeds them, right? Like they have their sources in the building, and they're not going to alienate them, right? So they're never going to say that Aaron Glenn should be fired or is going to be fired because
you can tell. The funny thing is, you can tell the members of the media that are being asked by the Jets to kind of back off and give them some room. Like I listen to Boomer and Gio every morning. I'm a commuter. I drive to work back and forth. Gio was shredding the Jets, and Boomer's like, well, Gio's like, you got to be kidding me, dude. You can't justify it. Why? Well, you got to give him a second chance. Like it's his former teammate, but I'm like, but they pressed him for answers. He's like, well, I'm like, but you could see who's being told by the Jets or works for the Jets that gets their leaks. All right, come on, just find a way to kind of buy us some time and try to change the narrative. And they can't do it successfully, man, because everybody's is just roasting them.
How many people questioned the Pete Carroll firing today?
Nobody.
Like, how many Super Bowls does Pete Carroll have?
Yep.
He doesn't deserve a little bit more runway to implement his vision and his system, and there's things you have to work through. I mean, and the Raiders are, and this talk about like Dante Moore avoiding the Jets because, like the Raiders aren't more dysfunctional than the Jets. They're on 5 head coaches in 5 years. Yep. They're paying $80 million, and also to Dante Moore. Like, you think that going back to school for a year is going to enable you to avoid the Jets? Like, we'll see you back here next year. Yeah. Like, we live here. This is where we live. We are. Yeah. My final point here on the Woody, they haven't made a public statement on bringing Aaron Glenn back, and part of that might be like the organization just doesn't give a shit, right? Like, you'll take your 3-14, and we'll see you next year because fans are going to continue to buy season tickets, all of that. But I suspect that there are people inside the building who are listening to these podcasts, and they're on all the message boards. And I think his kids probably have his ear, like Woody, like Dad, like 99.9%. There's never been this level of consensus, except for maybe Adam Gase, for a head coach to be fired. I cannot find one legitimate person who's not biased who is saying that Aaron Glenn deserves to be back. At the end of the day, Woody is indecisive. He is directionless. He's spineless. He's in over his head. I just think that, like, this guy, he listens to who has his ear last. He, whatever way the wind's blowing is where he goes. He's impulsive. And I think if there's enough public pressure, I think he's thinking about, like, what is the perception of me firing Glenn going to be, right? He doesn't really care about the football. There's no plan here, right? No, but it's how am I going to be perceived if I do this?
Trust me.
And I think that, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen in the next week. I don't think it'll happen tomorrow or the day after. I think you also want to see, like, who shakes free. I can just see Woody doing it, but
I mean, this is the thing is too. It's like even like the SNY, their broadcast TV partner, all those guys, and these are all respected guys. Bart Scott, Willie Colon, Connor Rogers. You're seeing the full like Victor Green play with Aaron Glenn. He's ripping them.
Yeah.
Like it's a consensus, man. Damian Woody, like people, all like the Jets' biggest staunch supporters in the media are like, dude, this is terrible. This is as bad as it gets. Like, and Woody's impulsive, and you get to a point where everybody's like, listen, there's no turning back from this.
No,
there's just not.
And like the Steve Wilkes has got to be at home just drinking a beer, laughing his ass off. I mean, you fired him December 15th. The last 3 weeks have been worse than they're giving up 30, 35 points a game on average, you know, and like to the Bills backups like that. I think the icing on the cake was yesterday when you just go, okay, the Jets are, you know, a stripped down, you know, I was seeing names out there I've never seen on a football field. And the Bills, you know, mauled them. The game was over. I saw one stat, guys. The Jets have been trailing on offense. The Jets have been trailing by 10 points or more for 54% of their offensive snaps this season, which is tough to believe. But
a lot of these games are over in the first quarter. Have a good night, man.
Take it easy, guys.
Have a good one. But that's the one thing I keep wanting to pointing out. Like everybody wants to focus on the month of December. Like, oh, they're tanking all this. There's a 17-game season. Let's not ignore the other 13, 12 games when they were actually trying, or the 0-7 start, and all the alarming things. Don't get overshadowed by 4 tanking games of Brady Cook. It doesn't. You can't ignore it. Just look at the facts of the players getting worse and nothing improving throughout the entire organization, minus special teams. That's all you got to look at.
Yeah, and Jack made up a good point about that stat with the 54%. Samini also posted another stat earlier today about they finished with a league low 759 passing yards in the first half of games, which is the lowest in the league over the last 20 years. The next closest team was the Tim Tebow-led Broncos in 2011, who actually made the playoffs that year. And this year, the next closest team was the Raiders, who had 1,230. They were like a whole 500 yards ahead of the Jets. And that's what we talked about so much earlier in the season. A lot of those games kind of got the scores looked a lot prettier because it was all garbage time. Bowles, the classic fourth quarter Bowles defense. He stopped blitzing. He played backed off. Jets were allowed to get back into that game. Even the Miami game, they went into it down in the fourth quarter, I believe, down 13. They came back. You had that Justin Fields broken, 43-yard run, whatever. A lot of those games look a lot better at the final score than they actually were during the game. So that's another thing, too. They were the kings of garbage time. Like, these blowouts were happening before the season. And 0-6 in a division again. That's another thing, too. Like, the 30-10 blowout against the Bills. Then you got blown out at home against Miami. You're blown out against division rivals. Like it's that's another thing I'm so sick of too, is just getting destroyed in the division. And I saw this tweet earlier today, and Jack kind of hinted at this too in terms of kind of what the league perception is. If you went around and told the 3 coaches, owners, GMs of the other 3 teams in the AFC East, and if you asked them if they would like the Jets to keep Glenn, I bet you every single one of them would say yes. I bet you every single one of them would say, do you want to see Glenn back? They would say yes, because it's a free 2 wins every single year because they're a laughing stock.
No, there's never been one game out of 17 where you look at the Jets stat like, wow, we actually outcoached that opponent. We actually had a game plan that overwhelmed to the point where we beat them. We never had any of that. Never, ever. And it'd be a fluke play, special teams, return. Like, it was never like, wow, our offense absolutely dominated this game for 4 quarters and was high flying. It's nothing. It's crazy.
Nope. And they spoke all off season. Fields was not coached properly. We have for Engstrand, it was, I worked with Goff. Now I have a quarterback that has mobility, and it blew up in his face.
They gave him a GoPro.
Yes.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Dead franchise walking. There's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to go. Nope. There's nothing to build on. What are you going to build on? Special teams? I mean, great. Where do you go from here? The owner's going to be 79 years old. How do these aging owners fare later in life?
Yep.
Better or worse? Or, Yep.
That's
We basically
true.
got right now Al Davis without any of the prior success.
Yep.
So like as a Jets fan for 53 years old, like I can't invest anymore. Like where do you like football's supposed to be like this relaxation, this escape, and like I've said before, I could deal with losing, but I cannot watch that. I have a plan. What plan? You've showed us zero plan. What is the plan? What were you building? What did we just watch for 17 games? What was that? Because it wasn't football.
No.
It wasn't professional football. And
it was embarrassing.
And I'm more and more convinced that like the Jets are basically a farm team for the rest of the NFL to figure out which players the playoff teams want to poach from us. Because if you look at all these playoff teams, they're all littered with former Jet players.
They are.
Including, and right now we are looking, and it's not likely, but we are looking at the possibility of a Sam Darnold versus Aaron Rodgers Super Bowl. That's in the cards. Could you imagine that? And again, I've said this all comes down to the owner. This all comes down to the owner.
Yep.
It's the culture. It's him. He's not going to get any better.
Yep.
Like I said, he bought this franchise for $635 million. Money he got because he's a nepotism baby. He had nothing to do with Johnson & Johnson. He worked there for one summer. The team is worth $7 billion. And we are the biggest joke franchise in all of sports. And we're still the 7th to 9th most valuable franchise in the world.
Yep.
And he has an ambassador title. Thanks, Trump, for that. So he just thinks you can't tell him anything.
Nope.
You can't tell him a damn thing. And you talk about, Glenn in the press conferences and Saleh in the press conferences and the ridiculous things they say the day after. That's coming from Woody. That's Woody getting in their head because Glenn is a different guy. I mean, not that his post-game press conferences are anything to shake a stick at. But the next day after Woody's clearly getting in his head and what I think he's telling him, you know what Rex used to say? You know what Rex used to how Rex used to handle it? Because he liked that about Rex. He liked the way Rex handled the press conferences. And I think he did the same thing with Saleh.
Yep.
Both completely different. Gase was completely different. Where was Woody during those two tenures? He was over in England.
Yep.
Not having anything to do with the team. As soon as he gets back, we get all this bold talk with nothing to back it up. That's not fair to Saleh. Saleh could coach defense. And remember Aaron Glenn's opening press conference, what he said? I'm not just a defensive coach. I know offense too.
That's what he said.
Really? Like when are you planning on sharing any of this knowledge with anybody in this organization? When?
No, so, he's got to get bailed out. He's going to get bailed out by now by hiring a senior offensive coordinator, a new defensive coordinator. He's got to hope he can get.
Then you don't have the right guy in place.
That's exactly it.
This is year 2. So now we're going in with a first-time head coach, year 2 on the fucking hot seat, who's proven absolutely nothing year 1, has regressed you back to a point where no one even thought was possible. 0 interceptions, can never be beaten, only tied. How is that even possible?
It's wild.
And yet we're going to go watch the playoffs, and we're going to watch nearly every playoff team with that Jets players and coaches on them.
But the thing is, like you watch games, even like the Ravens Steelers, it's like a different game. Like you watch the Jets play football. Like I'm to the point now, I think we all are, where I hated watching the Jets. Like I didn't want to watch yesterday. The last 3 weeks, I was so disinterested.
Punishment.
Yeah, it's not
punishment.
Fun. But you watch them play.
Is there a game on today? I'm like, unfortunately.
But you watch the Jets and you're like, well, this is gross. You watch all these other teams all throughout the NFL with starting quarterbacks, backup quarterbacks, injuries, teams all. Here's another thing. Teams all across the NFL have injury problems, not just the Jets, but they have a ability to overcome them and still play quality football.
Yeah.
The Jets aren't even in the same league right now. They are eons beyond everybody else. They can't tackle. They can't catch. They can't run. They can't be coached.
They can't throw a pass. They can't throw a pass. They can't stay on sides. They can't keep 12 men out of the fucking offense. Out of the huddle on offense.
I've never seen that before. 12 men in offense, 12 men on the field.
on offense. Like, you learn that in Pop Warner. You learn that in Pop Warner. And there's Aaron Glenn with the same glaze that all these Jets coaches have, because he knows what he's going to be hearing in his friggin' ear, and the chaos that, like, but he should have known better. He played for this organization.
Yep.
He played for not under Woody. Well, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, under Woody. But like, that was post Parcells, when Parcells fixed it.
Yep.
And understand, the stars had to align for us to even get Parcells anyway. It's not like, we were terrible. What if he had gotten full control in New England? Where would we be then?
But the thing is, they're at a point now where they need that kind of monumental change.
Yeah, you're going to have to give them ownership of the team. You're going to have to give because it's the only thing that makes this team of any value is what it's worth.
Nope.
That's it.
There's no coach you can get today like, all right, I want to go play for him. John Harbaugh, all right, guys will come here. But like, there's nobody in the NFL right now. Maybe Alex Anzalone if you overpay him. That's okay. You know what? I want to go play for Aaron Glenn and his 3-14 Jets while he's on the hot seat. Nobody wants to come to New York and play here. The Jets haven't made the playoffs, 15, 16 years now?
15 years.
And then 11 years, no winning season?
Last time. When I moved to Florida, it was the last time they made the playoffs. I'm 0 for Florida for the playoffs for this fucking team with Dolphin fans laughing at me of all franchises.
Rock bottom. This is it's just a new rock bottom.
Yeah,
you figure you go so low, you come out the other side. But God damn it, like, there is no other side with this organization. There is just, you can't, like, at some point. And I think Bubs is right. I think there is still a possibility that somebody embarrasses Woody, and because Woody does make real rash, stupid decisions. Great choice for an ambassador, huh? Surprised we didn't end up in a fucking war, with England, with that dunce running around. But I mean, this is where we are, and I have no hope for the future. Like,
me either.
We've drafted the right guys. Sam Darnold just broke a record, two straight 14-win seasons, but we threw him away. And Aaron Rodgers so again, we could end up with a Sam Darnold, Aaron Rodgers Super Bowl.
Thanks for calling, man. We appreciate it.
Talk to you, man.
Later. No, and I'm in the same boat, dude. And this is like, because like I'm all my friends like, oh, dude, we think about this. I'm like, I have no hope. Like, usually, as like we get all our future opponents, I'm like, oh, that's gonna be a good road trip, or that's a good road trip, or like you try to plan out your trips. What I'm planning out now is all the concerts I'm going to next year. Like, I'm going to this concert, that concert. The Jets aren't on my radar. Don't care about the home opener. Don't care about the road trips. Like, I'm not spending any money on Jet stuff. Trips, tickets, nothing. I'm good. I have no faith. Like, I'm done because they don't earn it. I don't want to watch. Like, I don't like I said one thing. Like, oh, it's another tank season. I can't go through another 3-14 season next year. I can't do it because it's no longer fun. Like this, like the one call I think it was Jack. It's supposed to be fun, dude. Like, we're supposed to wake up on Sunday morning, be excited to watch football. You see some good, you see some bad, but you enjoy it. Like, all right, you can wear your Jet jersey, your T-shirt, and this is our thing. It's so bad, dude. Like, I haven't taken Jet shit out of my closet in fucking months. Like, I'm good, dude. I'm passing on all of this.
Yeah. No, I haven't bought any Jet stuff in a while as well. I mean, I've gone to the point with jerseys where it's only former players. The last current player was I went all in and bought the Rodgers jersey, which was a mistake. But that was it. Like, all former players, and I haven't bought any recent Jet stuff. I'll go to training camp because it's free and summer and stuff. But even the home opener, I've been going there every year for a while now. It's hard to envision even wanting to go to that because because we just know in the back of our minds that we don't believe in this coach and this coach isn't the right guy. And it's like, I think a lot of fans feel that. I mean, there's a lot of people canceling their season tickets, rightfully so, because at the end of the season, the return on this season was over in September. The minute they lost against Miami, I mean, heck, the blowout against Buffalo, you knew it was going to be a long year when they were 0-2. We were mid-September. We were talking about draft, talking about how much of a train wreck this team is. Yep. September. It feels like we've already been through the offseason. Like, the rest of we're only in January 5th. It's going to be such a long offseason, but
but I'm to the point now. It's like I talk to Ian all the time. He's like, oh well, Kyler Murray could be an option for the Jets. Fine, it won't excite me. You want to get Malik Willis, Kyler Murray, cool, great. I just don't. It won't excite me. If they get Dante Moore, great. I'll be sitting there worried the Jets are going to destroy him. Like, I can't. I can't get all the negativity in my head to say, okay, you know what? Now I trust them. I don't. They've got to prove it, dude. They've got to literally come out and win like 4 or 5 games and show they actually know what the fuck they're doing before you get any money or credit from me. Because it's just not. I don't believe in them.
Yeah, and it's tough to get excited when you've seen what we've seen this season. Like it's all going to just be manufactured excitement because you have no faith in this head coach. And nothing this head coach can do in the offseason is going to give you any more hope because there's no games. Like he's got to prove it on the field. So we have to wait until September to see the results.
He talked it and he didn't walk it. He's continuing to talk it when he had no results. So it's
and he'll probably continue to the rest of the season.
Yeah, like the press conference tomorrow. The press conference tomorrow, I think, is going to be an absolute fiasco. And he better, I mean, I don't know what he could possibly even say, but it's going to be a complete joke.
Yeah, 100%.
What's up?
Am I the only positive one?
Good luck.
I'll deliver one thing of positivity.
What's that, my friend?
8 of the last 10 first-time coaches that were fired, or 8 of the last 10 coaches that were fired after 1 year, their replacements went on to make the playoffs.
There you go. You see?
So 80%. You want to look at Mike Vrabel, D'Amico Ryans, Stefanski, Shanahan. All those guys were after one and dones. Made the playoffs.
We can't get 7 wins.
Welcome to the bottomless pit.
There's that.
Hello, Armand.
Yeah.
This started when we were searching for a coach.
Yep.
And we want this guy fired, and rightly so. Yeah, there you go. Rightly so. But when you got guys that don't want to interview with us, and you've got a short list of candidates, you had maybe 2 offensive coordinators on that list that we could have gotten, and no one liked them anyway. The only one that had head coaching experience the most was Flores, and they didn't sign him, and we all wanted him. So we get rid of this guy now, fire him. So who we're bringing in right now? Who we're bringing in right now?
I mean, first of all, you got to see who's going to be available. Like, is Harbaugh going to be available like that?
Yeah,
but this argument is this. Like, I'm not going to say I'd rather go with the fear of the unknown than the known. My known right now is the Jets have a horrible. But to say, you know what, I'm not going to fire Glenn because who else is out there?
Yeah.
Listen, I'd rather go with the unknown than the known. If he's a shitty head coach, it's only going to make things worse.
Yeah. The only way is if it's somebody that can. He's got his. First of all, you got a president of the team that has no football experience.
No, he's clueless. Why is he still here?
Because he's a finance guy. That's all it comes down to. Money. He's a finance guy.
Clown.
All right. Worst thing to have. If you want to make him a president of finance, but not president of football operations, that's you need to. The only way you're going to get someone is like you say, Harbaugh is available, but how are you going to convince him? Because that's the guy that would.
But hold on. Last year it was a tough sell because the Jets didn't have a lot of assets and they didn't have any kind of quarterback in place. This year, that number 2 pick is a selling point. All these first-round picks over the next 2 years is a selling point. All this cap space is a selling point. This is the most marketable time for his team to a guy like Harbaugh or Tomlin or Stefanski. This is the time. This is it.
Well, but he's got to be available.
A lot.
This so reminds me of when they let McHagnon spend all the money and go through the draft and they fire him. You're like, well, that's a complete fucking waste of time. This is the same exact situation where we know we're delaying the inevitable. We know it's going to happen, and we're going to let it happen anyway to let them waste all this useless this useful resource for the organization. We're going to blow it. Out of what? We're scared to fire somebody because we owe him $40 million. Who gives a shit about his money? He's been ripping fans for years.
There's no one in that back office there is going to tell him to fire Aaron Glenn.
Why not?
I don't know.
Well, you know what? And the one thing is let's not forget Spielman helped Aaron Glenn get his job. So that's another problem too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Who's going to go against the tide there?
Nobody.
Exactly.
And here's the whole problem with the owner and this money. He just bought the soccer team for $225 million or whatever it was over. Like he could easily eat this contract. Like he's just cheap. He's always been cheap with the coaches. But in terms of like, I'd fire Glenn and hire Stefanski immediately because Stefanski, 2-time coach of the year, He made the playoffs twice with a dysfunctional Cleveland organization. He went in there and ended their long drought. Like, if you're talking about a guy, not just some dude that was witnessed the turnaround, you're talking about a guy that actually went into a dysfunctional organization, still dysfunctional. I think you know it's dysfunctional when you fire the coach, and that very minute he's the top coaching name on the market.
Deshaun Watson debacle.
Yeah,
there's no argument there, but it's who's pushing him to do that?
Nobody. Because they're complacent and they're never proactive. Never. Never.
You have the other guy who just wants to raise prices is telling, what do you raise prices? That's how you're going to make more money, because they have these people that have paid the PSLs. They're stuck unless they want to give up the money they put down for the seats, the licensing. So if they get rid of their season tickets, I think they lose. That's it. They lose their PSL money.
Yep.
Right. So now whatever you put down, 5, 10, 15,000 for those seats, you just surrendered, because someone else is going to come in and there's available seat. I'm going to buy it just for the hell of it, So
I don't know how you sell this team. I don't know.
I know how you sell it, but there are people that just want to just go and have something.
There's no return on your investment. Like at some point, listen, you could have a lot of money in the bank, but if you go every Sunday to watch putrid football and blowouts and being surrounded by opposing fans and taunted, at some point you get tired. You know what? I can spend this money on vacations. I can spend this money on Yankee games or Knick games or concerts or whatever else. I have no problem going to games. I haven't been to one. I'm not going this year. I didn't go this year.
No.
I'm out.
I don't blame anyone for not going.
Because it's why? It's you're rewarding poor behavior. Yeah. You know the Jets are incompetent. We'll say, you know what? Thank you. Can I have another? You're going to keep doing stupid things. I'm going to keep giving you my money? Absolutely fucking not. They don't deserve it anymore. They make football. I don't enjoy football anymore. I literally don't enjoy watching them. Like yesterday, I was like, this is ridiculous. You walk away what are we this isn't. It's not even competency. Brady Cook sucked, but even before that, Justin Fields was terrible. How many games we go into halftime with 65 yards passing, 3 first downs? It's it's antiquated fucking results.
Yeah. After the Bills game where he was totally shell shocked, you should have sat him, or you saw that he regressed tremendously after that game. You should have made the move, but it took him forever to finally make that move. He should have been in Wilkes here very early to say, "What are you doing here? This defense is doing absolutely nothing." You can't wait after 10 games to do something. You're losing.
He did 2 things. And this is, again, first time head coach problem, but at the same time, how many passes you're going to get? He grossly mishandled Justin Fields from day one and throughout it by not holding him accountable and being scared to bench him. That was the first thing. The defense is historically bad. He made Steve Wilkes the scapegoat and still didn't get involved in it. And that's his side of the ball. It's one thing, I'm a CEO type head coach, but when you see this shit hitting the fan, you put your headset down, you know what? I'm going to go there and talk to this guy because this is unacceptable. You have guys there's a notion the Jets don't have any talent. I think that's bullshit. I think they had talent and they were so poorly coached that they either gave up or just said, you know what? This is the wrong system for me. Because going into the season, everybody liked Quincy Williams. Everybody liked Sherwood, Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson. Harrison Phillips is a good player. Quentin Williams is a good player. Sauce is a good player. The defense sucked. Yeah. So now it's, they had no talent. No. They had it. They were poorly coached. Let's not ignore the facts now. So now the new thing is now it's all these guys just suck. Everybody sucks now. Okay, I guarantee you, Will McDonald goes to a better defense, he'll be much better. Jermaine Johnson goes somewhere, he's going to be a good player. Quincy Williams will be a good player. It's just this team, this scheme, this organization. And now people making excuses for it. Oh, they're tanking. No, this is a bad staff.
Yeah. They didn't use the team. All right. Further defensively, they were an attack team. They went to a read and react, and they were slow reacting. And by the time anything happened, that's why they gave up so many yards.
But what did Aaron Glenn say in his press conference? Yeah. We're going to maximize the skill set of our players and adapt the scheme to him. Let's not lose in this chaos that they grossly underutilized Breece Hall. Right. Garrett Wilson was a non-factor, and so was Mason Taylor. Yeah. When they actually had their playmakers on the field and healthy, they were grossly underutilized, and they got fucking Braylon Allen hurt in a goddamn kick return.
And then they kept Breece out there last week.
Fucking losing by 40 at Brees Hall in there, so you can get what 1,025 yards.
Yeah.
Well,
It's stupid.
like I said, until they make a decision from the top there to convince this guy to get rid of him, he's going to be there.
And to hand this staff a number 2 pick in the draft, which could be a quarterback, is nauseating because we know how this is going to end. We know how this is going to end.
No one's going to tell him unless he sees it for himself. But he doesn't.
He's clueless.
He's clueless. He thinks he's just got to give him another chance, because he's the next Jet that he'll come around. No, it doesn't work that way. You know, if you get rid of a guy who won 2 Super Bowls, you can get rid of him too.
And how many of us were calling for a veteran offensive mind on the staff last year?
Everybody.
This is just proving to the whole point. They're always late to everything. This organization is late on everything. They were late on. They should have got rid of Gaze. They should have got rid of Saleh. They should have hired an offense. Like they're everything. They're going to be late this year. They're always late. Always.
But the funny thing is, when they hired this staff, we first guessed these issues. We didn't really like the Wilks hire, but we understood it like veteran head coach, a lot of one and dones, had some concerns with Wilks. But the offensive side of the ball, you're like, all right, first time O-line coach, first time offensive coordinator, and a running back coach becoming your quarterback coach. A lot of inexperience. We hoped Scott Turner in the passing game would bring North Turner in to oversee it and do anything. Meanwhile, the passing game was a complete disaster on so many levels, which was predictable because Justin Fields regressed because there's nobody there to coach him up. They took a reclamation project and gave it to people that never did it before. That's asinine. And the sad thing is they're going to do it again. Like their first shot was rebuilding Justin Fields. You failed. All right. Now it's like a number 2 pick in the draft and do it. And set him back 3 fucking years. It makes no sense, Afro.
We have backups.
Right now we have no quarterbacks on a roster.
No.
Fields will be gone. Tyrod's a free agent, and Brady Cook's a practice squad guy. You're entering the season with none. When they should have at least drafted a guy in the 5th or 6th round to be a developmental guy. Riley Leonard would have worked for me. Looked good yesterday. God forbid we have that. Stupid.
It's just poor decision making.
From the top to the bottom, though.
Yeah. Well,
And this
starts at the top and just trickles down.
And this feels very reminiscent to 2020 going into 2024. Remember when Saleh tried to get, I think it was Arthur Smith to come in to help hack it or whatever. Like that is the prime coach on the hot seat. He's clueless. Oh crap, my coaching staff stinks. Let me try and bring in a veteran consultant and I'm going to get fired a year later anyway. And who's that consultant even going to be? Like who's going to want to take that consultant job? Like,
well, and the other thing too is if Aaron Glenn, you're going to see how secure Aaron Glenn is as a head coach, because would Aaron Glenn even hire a guy like Jonathan Gannon or Raheem Morris? Because if the team starts out slow, they could take over your team, dude, and become the head coach because they've already been there, done that. So we'll even have the balls to even hire a coach with a lot of experience. Out of fear if things get slow, he'll be replaced by them. That's my other concern.
Yeah, no. Listen, if you're going to hire an offensive consultant, then get rid of your OC. Make him the OC. Simple as that. Because if I'm an OC right now and you're hiring a consultant, I'm going to get a little bit pissed because I like to do the system my way, and you're not letting me. And so that's going to become a problem. And you're just going to have turmoil at the coaching level as well.
But just think about what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We have a first-time head coach after 1 year that has to hire a new defensive coordinator and maybe a new offensive coordinator. What does that tell you? You're not a good.
Yeah, and his staff is horrible. And that was the problem with Saleh, was his staffs were awful. And now, why should we have any faith he's going to get these hires right, number one? And it also goes back to the whole CEO thing. Like, all he talked about was, let Glenn run his scheme or Wilks run his scheme. Like, that's all Saleh did was deferred to his coordinators. He never, ever stepped in. Never. Glenn didn't step in at all. And now we're going to trust him to get these coordinators right now. We're going to trust him to have any of these coordinators actually going to want to come here. I mean, heck, Raheem Morris, he might be back in the head coaching chair 5 weeks into next season if he's here. Because if they start 1-4, Glenn's probably out. That's the Woody special. Give the guy 5 weeks and then fire him when you all could just fire him right now.
And this goes back to not hiring a seasoned head coach who has his own guys that
all
he
predictable
knows, are experienced, and that's it. I'm Glenn. He comes with this speech how great He feels right for this team. He said the same thing about what's his name when they fired Salah, Ulbrich. Oh, you got to see how this team reacts to him. Yeah, they did very well by sucking.
They quit.
Yeah, they quit. Just like this team. A lot of guys quit on this team because they just knew nothing was changing.
Nope. They knew. Like, that's the thing is, this is a young, impressionable team that tried to buy into Aaron Glenn's new style approach of all this shit. And once they saw the same results, be like, all right, I know how this goes. I'm out.
Guys are out of place. Guys don't know what they're doing. That's it. No pressure on the quarterback. It's a total mess. And the fact that some of those guys and that organization and the management see it, but don't have the balls to say it to him.
Yep.
They just they're fine because they know they're safe.
They're collecting checks.
All complete.
They know they're safe because they're not. They don't really deal in that end of it. They deal more in the financial end, and they just in his ear. They know that he'll listen to them. So it's not going to get any better until some. I don't know. Exactly.
Good. I'm glad you're off hiatus, man.
Well, what else? The season's over. What am I going to do now?
Have a good night, man. I'll talk to you later.
Have a good one.
Later. This guy hasn't called in forever. Where the hell you been, man?
Tyson. That was quick.
Where you been?
Bubs.
How's it going?
I've been good. I've been depressed watching this team, but I've been good. It's so bad. It's so bad. I don't even know where to begin. The worst part about it is really that you don't have any faith in the guys. And Tyson, I watched your video before, and you were right. Like, when we had Gase, at least we were like, oh, we're firing Gase. We're going to have a high pick. We're taking a quarterback. And it was a strong class where you knew there was a lot of kids. We're keeping the same coach. And, I think Woody might be doing it because, he doesn't want the reputation of whatever. He's got all the stigma around him. But at the end of the day, I mean, they showed you nothing. They showed you absolutely nothing. The first 7 weeks were embarrassing. I mean, this is a team that people were saying was 7-10, 8-9, like be scrappy. Oh, at worst, we'll go 5-12. You got talent at places. And I feel like the roster we overrated it, which happens, as fan bases do. But either way, just frustrating. And then you trade away Sauce and Quinnen. And at the time I was pissed about it, but showed a little bit of fight and, maybe something encouraging. Maybe you finish out strong and then just putrid. It's very, very discouraging. I don't really see where this thing's going next in terms of with the draft. If Dante Moore doesn't declare, we're fucked. And I don't think Dante Moore's, some clear savior. I watch a lot of college football, but I think the kid's got something. He's the one other player that you'd consider. And at this point, it's worth a dart throw. I think it makes more sense than Zach Wilson, did at the time. So
he's not a day one starter, dude. He needs time. He needs grooming. Like,
I agree. I would not play him if we do take him. If we are fortunate to have him come out, I would probably bring in Mariota, Brissett, someone like that, and let him mentor and play 6, 7, 8 games, and then whenever the kid's ready, play him. If the kid goes into camp and outplays one of the starters, great. But that's really the only hope. The one thing I really do love about him is, and I think it's going to be talked about more as the draft process goes on, is he did start as a freshman at UCLA. He was this big 5-star recruit, and he went in. Very possible, right? I'm not, but he was a big 5-star recruit. He went to UCLA. It was when Chip Kelly was there, and that team really was dysfunctional. They struggled a lot. He got benched a couple of times. He had played some good games, but he was up and down. That experience is encouraging. It's not like he's a one-year starter, only seen success at Oregon. So, again, I'm not vouching for him this year. I don't think he's been under a lot of, tough situations. Their schedule outside of Indiana was pretty weak. Texas Tech last week, if anyone watched the game, he didn't have to do a ton, right? There was a strip sack that set up the one touchdown.
Good,
the other touchdown was kind of
So
we'll see, but it just feels very bleak because the roster is so barren. we have these picks, but we don't have guys that we know if we can trust to make the picks and basically, we burn this draft capital. It's going to be brutal. I mean, you look at the Raiders all those years back with a guy from NFL Network,
Mike Mayock,
not McShay. Mayock, yeah, and they had all those picks, and Jacobs was really the only one that turned into anything. So I don't know. I mean, Muji and them showed some stuff this class. I like Taylor. Membu obviously was a very big bright spot, but outside of the offensive line, outside of Garrett Wilson, where are the players on defense? Where are the players? I mean,
there's nothing.
We're talking about Juwan Briggs and Harrison Phillips, nice players, good rotational run stoppers, but those are the bright spots on defense. It's the worst pass defense I've ever watched as a Jets fan. It's something we're usually pretty good at. We can never stop the run, but we've always had good corners. I don't know. It was a very tough watch, and especially when you have a coach come in. You come off last season and that was worse than this season just because of the expectations. You come off that, and Glenn comes in and says, we're here to win. This ain't the same old Jets, all this shit. And then to come out and lay a goose egg like that, it's discouraging. It's very discouraging. It was outside of the Raiders, maybe. We were the worst team in football.
Yep.
And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's much more to say to that. I mean, again, yeah, like at least with Saleh, the defense really showed something. The defense was a true strong point, and that's what he was supposed to be here for. But with Glenn, it's just I don't know. I mean, the defense was a mess from week one, and it didn't really improve. And the offense felt like it had no identity all year. You had a couple nice games when Fields or Taylor would maybe make a few big plays, but a lot of it was garbage time production. And for the most part, just hard to watch. I've watched almost every game since I started watching this team, 18 years ago or so. It was very hard for me to watch last 5 or 6 games this year.
I'm with you.
What are you watching?
It's punishment, dude. It's bad.
Yeah. Usually it's this guy or that guy I'm watching for. Who on this roster were you watching last?
Nothing.
There wasn't like there's not like 1 or 2 players you're so excited to see. There was nothing. You're like, all right, how they get their asses kicked this week? Like, how embarrassing is it going to be this week? Like, there was nothing, no bright spot. I mean, Isaiah Williams, okay, give him McNamara, Nick Folk. That was really it.
All the special teamers.
Special teams was elite. Keith Banjo around either way, but I don't. If they had, I understand tanking. If they had maybe been a little more competitive the first 7 weeks or so, and then you tanked the last 5 weeks, you're playing Brady Cook, I could buy into the excuses. But it was really a very putrid team. We played a weak stretch of teams. To your guys' point, special teams won us, 2 of those games?
Yep.
So,
they would be 1-15 without special teams.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, it sucks. The good news is I was 1-0 on the road this year. I went to the Cincinnati game. That was a great time. My brother goes to school out there, so we went to go visit him. Me and my father.
That's good news for you.
It was a good time. So I'll try to go to a few more next year. Maybe we'll get to 5-12, but I don't know.
Good hearing from you, man. Thanks for calling in.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's go, Jets. Keep doing what you guys are doing. Bubs, love to see you on the big show now. And
Thank you.
Good night, man.
I'll be sure to come on a couple more times the offseason.
Absolutely, dude. Later, man.
That's good.
You haven't called in a while, man. That's just, and to Javid's point too. Javid made a good point. Saleh's first year, we were all betting on when Ulbrich was going to be fired year 2. We were like, oh, this defense is terrible. That is a fair point. But this is easily the worst defense I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, it's not even before the tanking, they were horrendous.
Yeah. And to be fair to the whole Saleh Ulbrich thing, like looking back on it, hindsight 2020, that was more Saleh than Ulbrich because the minute Saleh was canned, the defense completely regressed. Now, I think a lot of that was Ulbrich was just so overwhelmed, and he even mentioned it, I think at like late last year, how he would have given up play calling. But I feel like that was more, I guess, Saleh had a ton of his hands on that defense, even during the Ulbrich stuff. But yeah, I mean, he did stick with Ulbrich, but this defense was even worse than that.
This is just 0 interceptions for 17 games is remarkable.
New record of Jets futility, let me tell you. It goes back, that record. They've been keeping records on interceptions since like 1932. And somebody else had it. My son sent me a great meme that somebody said. He said, they've been keeping interception results since 1932. The first jet plane was built in 1939 that the Jets are named after. So the record that they broke actually predates, even having jets. And that was a league, by the way, think about it. The NFL before leaving the 60s was a running league. They didn't throw much.
Yep.
Yet every team's had interceptions. So it's a new record. I mean, all these things are just, and it's not the right way. And looking at this whole thing as a fan, having been around so long, somebody said there's a recency bias. You sit there and say, well, this is the worst season, but we said this with Gase. We said this was to everybody.
We said it last year.
But you know what? It really is. I mean, for so many reasons, and it's not so much the hype. We really wanted to believe. You know what? We really wanted to believe. We wanted to believe we have a culture guy, a guy that came in from Parcells, a guy that would come in and overturn these things. And he didn't do it. Nothing. I mean, when we lost Aaron Rodgers in 23, it was a big blow. But it was something we couldn't control. It was a typical Jets thing, figures, right? We get the great quarterback, four plays in, he's gone. All these things. Well, we looked at this, we said, okay, he seemed to have an idea. He was saying the right things. But, looking in retrospect, there's things that I guess I should have looked at in the beginning. For example, we hear how much respect Glenn has in the league, that all these people, he knows all these people respect them and everything else. Yet look at the coaches he got. He's not getting it. I'm using contrast Mike Vrabel in New England. He pulled in the coaching staff that he's got up there. Obviously, he's got McDaniels, which is like, forget it.
Vrabel was established, though, because he's already established with the Titans.
I'm sorry?
Vrabel was already established, though, with the Titans. He already had,
I understand
what
I'm saying. Is Vrabel came in there, but the point is, he came in there and he hired all these coaches. He got guys that were good coaches.
Yep.
So we look at what Glenn hires, right? So he hires Wilkes at DC, okay, experienced guy. We had these talks. I was part of this. I said, okay, maybe. Experienced coordinator, not exactly known as being a superstar.
Nope.
Farmer head coach, that should help, right? But not exactly. It's not like you're hiring a DC like whatchamacallit up at Flores or guys like that. He's not, or Martindale or Schwartz or any of these levels.
Wilkes wasn't in the NFL last year.
No, he was a consultant for some college. Charlotte. Not exactly, a consultant for LSU either. So he's not known. So why couldn't Glenn get coaches? I've heard all these things. He didn't have time. It's like, come on, guys. He hires Engstrand as OC. Engstrand, they didn't even give him a chance in Detroit to interview for Johnson's job when he left. They didn't. So why? Right? And I'm not going to beat a dead bush with that.
Well, he wasn't even Aaron Glenn's first choice either.
No, but I mean, it means other people turned him down. But the point is, he didn't seem to have and you look at the coaching staff and you say, what the hell? And obviously this year kind of bears it out, because I don't care. The big excuse now, what's really bothering me is Glenn's doing it. He's using the excuse of talent, that the team wasn't talented. You know what? There was enough talent on this team. It shouldn't have been this bad. And forget the tanking. Everybody says, what'd you expect when they tank? Yep. I'm not even talking about that. The first 10 weeks of the season,
exactly,
they sucked. And they were terrible. They weren't that. They were okay in the first game. But Pittsburgh's defense wasn't great. But they still weren't that. They didn't look that great. But the rest of it, they weren't tanking. It was the coaching. And you know what? When you have it that bad, that's coaching. That is not just talent. And they had people. We had guys who we thought were almost Pro Bowl level sitting in there. All these guys. And now we're getting from Glenn, well, I need my guys. You know what? What happened? You mentioned it. What happened at the beginning of the year when he said, we're going to play to people's abilities? They didn't do it. Yep. And here comes another one of mine. This came out of something on the radio, and it's son of a gun. You're right. They were talking about with the Jets getting Justin Fields, right? Okay. They said he was the best of the worst that was out there, maybe. I could argue you're probably better off with Jameis Winston, but whatever. So they bring in him. He's a running quarterback. He's a mobile. He's been known for that. And what are they doing? They're playing him as a pocket passer, and it made no sense. Why the hell are they doing this? We all said it. Why aren't they doing RPOs? Why aren't they doing play actions? Why,
the screens. Yep.
And then what the guy said they were interviewing. I don't know who they were interviewing. I didn't catch it. I was listening in the background. But the guy said, he said, basically, that Fields was Glenn brought him in, and primarily because he was a running quarterback. Because he wanted the running. He wanted all that. And Engstrand didn't want that, which means Glenn was not talking to Engstrand at all, because it was such a mismatch. You could see it. And Fields has never been a pocket passer, not a pure pocket passer. He was in college, ironically, but whatever. He hasn't been. And as a result, it's screwed up.
Well, it's the other thing too. It's like the way Glenn put together his staff and the way they assembled this roster. It put a premium on coaching. Like, and they were kind of saying, "Listen, trust us. We know we're going to coach these guys. We're going to put all this premium on coaching." And this is the aftermath. They look poorly coached. They looked inept, and they regressed. 3 bad signs for a coaching staff. So now you can say, "Okay, now we're going to blow it up. We're going to keep Glenn. We're going to blow up his staff." Why? Why have the faith in to give him a second chance to rebuild the staff when he's done nothing to earn that right?
Well, I mean, the problem with Glenn, here comes the big problem, right? So then I'm going to give you another stat that I looked at, that somebody else passed to me, right? They always hear about, well, Glenn went 0-3, right? Went 3 and whatever. There are all these coaches that had bad first seasons. Parcells, whatchamacallit, Jimmy Johnson, Bill Walsh. They all had terrible first seasons, like 1-15, so on and so forth, right? I actually did a statistics search on this to double check it because I wasn't sure. Among coaches that have that bad first season, only about 20% of them end up going to the playoffs with that team.
Yep.
So it's a 5-to-1 odds. So using that as an argument, saying, well, all these great coaches had bad first seasons. But you know what? There was a sign there. I remember what Dallas was like when Jimmy Johnson took over. They didn't have much, but they looked better by the end of the year than they did in the beginning.
Improvement. Yep.
Parcells, when he took over the Giants, it was in '83. It was the same thing. They didn't have much there in the team. They had some guys, good guys there, but they really didn't have the core of the team. And by the end of that year, that team looked like something. You could see they were going someplace, no matter what the record was. And that's all we wanted from Glenn. That was the fucking irony of all this. We all sat there and said, most of us sat there and said, maybe we'll get 6-7 wins, maybe won't. I sat there and said if they went 1-16, but I saw them at the end of the year that they looked like they were getting better, I'd be happy. And it's just like, it wasn't there. We all know this. It became a tank. Okay, I'm not judging the last games, but you know what? We had to sit and watch them. We sat and watched them. And it's just like, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, what the fuck? I mean, literally, it was just such a mess and it was so totally different. And then Glenn started really losing me. He started making excuses. He sat there and said, I've got to bring in my guys. That is the biggest bullshit in terms of coaching. Yes, if you've got really bad talent, if you got an expansion team, if you have like we had, I think going into like Gase's years and stuff like that, or even into the first years of Saleh, where all this crap, because it was a terrible, we had, Berrios was our best receiver and stuff like that. You can make an argument for that. But he didn't have that. He literally didn't.
And Justin Fields was his guy.
Yeah. And that was the thing. And a lot of those guys were his guys. And also we were told the guys they brought in, that everything there was a collaboration between Muji and Glenn. So if they re-signed Sherwood, guess what? He made that decision.
Yep. And the guys already on the roster, he claimed under this staff would get better.
Better coaching.
He said it.
Yeah,
he
better
said,
coaching.
He kept saying, he kept implying with a smirk on his face that everything was the prior coaching staff.
Yep.
That it was a good team and it was fucked up. It's like, and now you're faced with a situation. You keep asking why Woody won't get rid of him. One theory on the radio that I thought held some validity, that Glenn went to Woody, and Woody's stupid, of course, because he can't see his hand in front of his face. And he goes in there and says, you know what, we're going to blow this up. It's not working. We're going to trade these guys. We're going to get draft picks. We're going to be able to get a quarterback. We're going to tank, whatever the hell they're doing. And Woody bought into it. And there's probably some of that. I have another theory on that, though. One of the things when Glenn was hired, there was a lot of people pushing back on it and saying, why are they hiring? It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Several big names, including Peyton and a couple of other people, they said, if anybody can turn the Jets around, it's Glenn. They made these public statements, and they said if he fails, it's about the team. It's basically about Woody. So now you got Woody Johnson. And I'm very certain, this one I'm pretty certain of, that's part of this, that Woody is not going to do it. And of course, he also doesn't want to eat, $40 million, whatever the hell he's going to be eating. He doesn't want to do that. But he also doesn't want to make it look like if he fires him, he knows people are going to be sitting there saying it's your fault because he could have done it. It's your fault. We're in a bind with all this. The only hope, and I'm coming, this is going to be the first year in the off season. I'm going in there like totally negative and saying, fuck this. unless I see something really good. And the first thing is, I don't understand that his coaching staff should have been fired today.
Yep,
He won't do it, but they should have been fired.
Yeah.
He'll keep Engstrand, I'm sure, but the rest of them should be fired because there is nobody on that thing except for Banjo and his people. There's none of them that could justify their job that I could see. Defensive line coach, the defensive line sucked. We had very little pressures, nothing. The lack of, secondary defensive backs, come on.
Well, what they should do is you get a prominent defensive coordinator and let that coordinator hire his guys to run his defense.
Well,
don't do some mix and match bullshit.
But basically, at this point, these guys are still on the staff until they get fired.
Yeah,
So
and that's the thing. You bring in like in theory, a Wink Martindale or Schwartz, whoever you want to bring in, they're gonna be like, listen, this guy's good, this guy's bad. Like you got to weedle them out. That's the hope, at least, if you can get that quality kind of coordinator. But I'm with you, dude. Like I'm entering this off season for the first time in life. You're just negative. Not buying into nothing, not believing nothing, because I just don't see the blueprint. I don't have any faith. I have no faith in this organization whatsoever. Even if they make quality picks or get quality players, I have no faith in this coach to coach them up.
That's the other thing. I keep hearing, you see in the chat here, everybody, well, if we only get Mendoza, if we only get Moore, if we only get XYZ, because he's the greatest thing since sliced bread as a quarterback, you need coaching. I know every good quarterback in this league, they've had good coaching. I don't care. You name them, I can point out the coaching.
Well, the other thing, and this is the other problem too, and this is something I was arguing with somebody today. The problem when I have a defensive-minded head coach, just say we go out and get Todd Haley or whatever, your new offensive coordinator, right? And they work year one with Dante Moore, and Dante Moore throws for 30 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, has this great year. Guess what happens? Todd Haley leaves and goes somewhere else, and now you're on to your next coordinator. If you have an offensive-minded head coach, it makes it a lot easier because that's the guy that's kind of spearheading your progress here.
I agree totally. I think the problem with that, there was an argument, someone talked about that, and I thought it was a pretty good argument. They said the guys that you want to get are the guys that are good coordinators that have been head coaches, and they were terrible head coaches.
Yep.
McDaniels is the perfect example of that.
Yep.
Shit, shit head coach, great offensive coordinator. It's true on the defensive side too. I can think about people like sometimes they make it like whatchamacallit at Denver, Joseph. He'll probably actually interview for head coaching. He's a great DC. I don't think he's a particularly good head coach. He was one. He's not going to be. So the answer to that is you get somebody who already has been a head coach and wasn't very good, because at that point they know they're a coordinator and are going to stay with it, or somebody that's always been. But and again, looking at this, the other thing I've got with Glenn is I still think there's that even though he looks so damn beaten in that press conference, there's still that arrogance. And even with what he was saying, it's kind of like that letting people down, whatever. That's a passive aggressive. That's kind of like saying, oh, poor me, come pity me because we had such a bad year. It's all on me. But
see right through that shit.
It's like, come on, guys. But the arrogance, and that's going to be the problem with coaching, because some of the names you're mentioning, Jim Schwartz, Martindale, these guys are strong characters.
Mm-hmm.
And
they can take his job if the team struggles.
Well, it's not only that. I think Glenn wants to be the top dog. I don't think he wants people that challenge him, that say, Glenn, you're wrong. He doesn't want it. Because looking at the coaches he hired, none of them are going to would challenge him back.
Well, if he had a problem assembling his staff last year, can you imagine this year after being 3-14 and on the hot seat? It's even getting more difficult.
It's going to be difficult unless he can. Now they can sell him, as everybody talks about the draft capital and the cap. We'll have better players, yada yada. And there is something to that. No, there's something to be said. Or if you're going to be drafting, hopefully a good quarterback. Now again, that's problematic. It might get somebody who's interested, right? But the thing is, again, if Glenn is really this respected person who knows all these people, he's been many places, he claims to know all these people and stuff. You mean a Sean Payton? Even guys that are not coaching right now couldn't say to him, hey, Aaron, why don't you try this guy? This guy looks really good. He's supposed to be really good. He's a bright young mind.
Yep.
Guy is good. This guy. They couldn't have done it because you showed in his staff.
Well, the other thing, too, is you have Rick Spielman in the building. Rick Spielman is a quality established general manager. He should have contacts.
You figure that, and you also figure he'd be doing it, but I don't know what the hell Spielman's doing. I'm really upset.
I have no clue what Spielman's there doing.
You know what? I was really hoping that he'd temper Woody and say, you know what? Don't do that. You're going to get screwed doing it or whatever. I mean, Woody stayed out of things pretty much, which until now. But now comes the interesting one, right? You were mentioning about the rookie quarterback, right? So let's say we draft Dante Moore. He's a big enough of a name and everything else. You know friggin' well that Woody and Jaime the Jackoff are going to be pushing to start him because they want to sell tickets because the season ticket sales must be in the toilet at this point. The number of people that have publicly renounced that they're not getting tickets. Big names, the Mr. whatever his name, Captain Jet, whatever his name.
Yeah, he did. Captain Jet gave him up.
40 years.
He gave him up. Other people have, and other people have had him for years. They're giving him up. So that's going bad against him. So now you got a problem, right? So Glenn screwed the pooch this year, and it's an ugly year. He's really only here at Woody's forbearance. Is basically what's keeping him here. So if that happens where we get the quarterback and Woody says we're starting him and Glenn says no, or the OC or whoever the coaches are say no, and Woody says no, we're starting him. We got to start him out there. What do you think is going to happen?
I go even before that. Going into this offseason with the team being the laughing stock of the NFL and you can't sell tickets, this is where Woody Johnson interferes and we need a splash move. We got to make something. Yeah. We got to do something crazy to sell tickets or to get the fans back inspired. This is where he usually meddles, is right about now, especially with a coach on a hot seat trying to save his job and everything else. This is where Woody strikes.
What happened was Glenn, if he had a halfway decent season, if he had really been a coach where we had it where, let's say we had 7 wins, but the team was looking tough. They fought in a lot of games. Things were getting better.
As the year went on.
Play improved. Everything was looking better. He would have been in a position of power to say to Woody, hey, because he fires him, someone's going to say, why are you firing him? But now Woody can fire him for anything, and he can just say, look at last season. Look at all the badness. Look what people are saying. Just look at this. I can see with my own eyes it's not working. So he's got Aaron by his short hairs.
Yep. 100%.
And he's gonna fucking use it. He's going to fucking use it, and he's going to get him to try to start it. And Glenn is not going to come up and say no. He's not going to say fire me because he probably would.
No,
ticket sales mean something to Woody because you got to understand something. Someone just posted the thing saying ticket sales don't mean anything. They don't mean in the running of the team because most of the revenue is TV revenue. But that's money that you get from ticket sales, concessions at the games, parking now at $100 a shot. Boy, that's something.
Fuck all that.
You know, all this stuff. That's extra money. And any dollar Woody gets, you got to understand Woody's mindset, man. If you make $10 this year, he wants to make $20 next year.
Yeah, well, he also raised ticket prices during a lost year. So thanks for
calling in, man. You know what the hell? But anyhow, I mean that's the whole thing with this, and I'm going into it cynical. If Glenn doesn't change his coaching staff, or he hires for a DC, he hires some position coach from the mighty Detroit Lions who look like kittens, which shows that Aaron Glenn had nothing to do with it, nor did Dan Campbell really, other than the fact he fired Anthony Lynn and hired Ben Johnson. That's the one thing you can say there. And it's obvious because Detroit fell apart when Johnson went. You know, it's kind of like, wow. And I think next year when the games come on, I'll have the stream on. I might even have it on a radio. I don't know if I'll bother watching it. It's not, I don't even want to visualize it.
Have a good night, man.
Take care, guys.
There we go.
Man, the callers have been awesome tonight, dude.
Yeah.
They have been awesome. And this is the anger we expected, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And he's spot on about a lot of, especially the coordinator stuff, because a lot of these Jet fans that have believed in Glenn, all they continue to go back to is, oh, well, Dan Campbell struggled in year one. Well, I'm not sure if we really want to follow the Dan Campbell vision anymore because all that was 2 good years and then your stud offensive coordinator leaves and now you're lost. That's what that was. Because now it shows they're nothing without Ben Johnson.
But they also showed a lot of fight. They showed improvement. They showed glimpses of things getting better.
Yes.
You didn't do that. And for the thing is, the Dan Campbell thing is convenient. Well, for every Dan Campbell, how many other coaches completely sucked? We've seen them firsthand with ourselves. So it's like, it's fun to cherry pick a certain thing. Well, oh, this guy, this great coach did that. Okay. There's 14 coaches that suck doing the same thing.
Yeah. 100%. For every Dan Campbell, there's, the Lovie Smith with the Texans, the David
Robert Saleh with
the Texans. Yeah. Freddie Kitchen with the Browns, Saleh, Gaze, all the lists of bad coaches. Yeah, it's the truth. And that's what I just have such a big problem with is everybody that the only reason people say bring back Glenn is, oh, you just can't fire him after year one. There's nobody else better. Like that's not true. You can fire him after year one. And look, there's 32 jobs out there. If this job is much more appealing than it was a year
That's
ago.
true.
Like
100%.
much more appealing. You can get a big name to come in here if you actually try it. Another thing too is I saw this too. Can't fire Glenn because Chris Banjo's been really good. That doesn't mean Banjo's gone.
Nope.
It makes no sense either. Brant Boyer was here forever.
Like a
Westhoff
decade.
was here forever. Like Banjo could stay. It's just some of the Glenn. There's no good reason to bring Glenn back. Is I guess the point I'm just trying to make.
No, you're delaying the inevitable. The from what we know and what we've seen, this is all very predictable. He'd have to be an outlier to actually accomplish what he says he's going to do. It's not in the cards for Medusa. Like we know how this story ends. We literally know it. And then the other thing that pissed me off yesterday too, he's almost like he's saying like he's keeping receipts. Bro, what? Like in his press conference, like, we don't forget what people say. Bro, we didn't forget what you said all year long as you embarrassed yourself and you whittled into a little cheese, like a cheese ball at the end of the year, like a yard gnome.
Yeah.
Fucking, you know what I mean? Like he's like almost like trying to be like kind of feisty, but bro, you're 3-14, you're irrelevant.
Yeah, when he said, "I'm taking all the arrows, I won't forget all this," is very similar to the Saleh receipts quote. Very similar, and that really worked well for Saleh. Yeah.
Oh my God! This is the worst I've ever felt about this team.
Yeah.
It literally is. It's the worst.
Yeah, I mean they're historically inept. They're legitimately, especially the last 5 games, they've rolled out one of the worst football teams we've ever seen in the history of the league. No interceptions. They've had the fewest turnovers this year in NFL history. First team in NFL history to lose 5 straight games by at least 23 points. The list goes on and on of how much of a train wreck it's been. And it's been a train wreck even prior to these last 5 games. With
that's the point.
Start.
That is my biggest talking point about all of this is the last 5 games are bad. I'm not forgetting the first 12 either. The first 12 were more telling than the last 5, and the first 12 weren't good. There were all red flags there. And then going into this, it's almost like everybody's trying to give Glenn a pass, but they're tanking. It doesn't they can't ignore the fact that players got worse and things got a lot worse. There's still no culture. There's still no leadership. There's still no accountability. It's just
he grossly miscalculated this season. Grossly miscalculated with the way he spoke. And look, we all hope we're wrong and they turn this around, but we've seen this before. It's not. I bet a ton of money that we are sitting here next year with a list of probably terrible candidates because all the good ones will go this year. Harbaugh will get a job. Stefanski will get a job. All these guys. Yep. And that's another thing too. Like, does Glenn even get the full year next year, or is this another Saleh situation where 5-6 weeks in they're 1-5? I mean, they were 2-3 with Saleh, but if they're even worse at 1-5, does Woody then pull the plug and then you're firing a coach 6 games in with a rookie quarterback? We're screwing up the timeline again. Screwing up the timeline,
especially with a rookie quarterback. Especially where it's like, all right, now he's got to learn a new system with a new coach, and it's just it could all be avoided.
Yeah.
So now we go from talking about all these miserable things that are the Jets to a fan that is cheering for one of the best teams in football, led by our former quarterback, Sam Darnold, of all things. Sam with back-to-back 14-win seasons. And the other thing, too, is everybody's ripping the Jets for getting rid of Sam Darnold. What about the Vikings, dude?
I know. Yeah.
The Vikings, McCarthy is horrendous, and when he's even healthy. The Vikings completely blew it.
Yeah, there's a lot to be. There's a lot of things to say, lull Jets at all that stuff from a national media perspective, right? They've kind of taken it's funny. The interception stat was kind of like the little thing amongst our fan base. And then once Adam Schefter got a hold of it yesterday, now it's blown up. Like ESPN had it on all their social media pages yesterday with first time since 1933. So that got out. But there's a lot of things to joke about this fan base, not joke about, but just criticize with this joke of a franchise, I should say. The whole Sam Darnold thing it was a mistake, but yeah, I mean, in terms of like Orlovsky saying that the Jets should be embarrassed and all that stuff, like the Vikings last season had him and they let him go, and
after 14 wins,
that
he sucked with the Panthers.
He hasn't been in the Jets facility in 5 years. That ship's sailed. It is what it is.
All right, so we talk from talking Jets to talking Seattle Seahawks. As our good friend Jose is living a glamorous life, I'm very jealous, man.
Good evening.
I'm very happy for you, man. I'm going to be rooting for you guys.
But I have a question.
Bubs.
What's up?
What was the turnover differential?
Oh, the turnover differential is horrendous.
Turnover differential was minus 19, which
Oh,
was dead last.
Jesus.
And they're actually the first team in NFL history to finish last in point differential, turnover differential, and yardage differential.
Okay, so without that being said, how does Aaron Glenn still have a job?
We don't know, dude.
Yeah, that's a good
What?
question.
It's historically one of the worst teams in the history of the NFL.
What?
It's remarkable, dude.
Blackmail does he have on Woody?
I think Woody Johnson's probably traveling the world right now. He probably forgot he even owns the Jets and doesn't realize what's going on.
Probably in London doing something.
Those stats are ridiculous, dude. If you think about,
Yeah.
some of the stats we talked about tonight. They're not even like they're just like what?
No, it's hard to do. It's hard to do.
And also, Aaron Glenn, little bitchy is saying, I need my guy. Who are you guys? Alexander Malone.
Yep. Well, that's the obvious one. Alex Anzalone, they're going to overpay him next year, bring him in as the leader and captain. That's an easy signing for him.
But who else?
I don't know. I genuinely know because you players want to get paid, they want to get results, they want to get their stats, they also want to win. You may get paid with the Jets, but you're coming into a true rebuild with you have no idea what your defensive staff's going to be, your offensive staff. Like there's good luck getting I'm not buying it.
It was so frustrating watching that game yesterday. And what? Mitch Trubisky passing it just down the field. Two guys were wide open.
Yeah.
It was like Mitch Trubisky was auditioning for the Jets to be the quarterback next year.
Yeah.
That's a serious question.
Serious questions. I get scared with these.
What did they do to Fireman Ed?
They broke him, dude, because Fireman Ed's tired of this shit too, man. The fans are fed up, dude, and rightfully so. You're getting no return on your investment, man. Like this is pure gross incompetence at this point. You spend a lot of money on tickets, man. You go all these road trips and you're seeing your team get embarrassed every week. You get tired of it. You get fed up. And to Fireman Ed's credit, he doesn't do the company line. He doesn't say I got to be a Jets ambassador. No, he keeps it real like he should.
So what can fans do to get a change for the Jets, if anything?
I don't know how this ever changes, man. I just don't think Woody Johnson wakes up. I just don't think he does.
Yeah, I've said that for a while. I think as long as he's in charge, nothing's going to change because he's not going to make the right decisions.
Nope.
So,
Jose, so how excited are you about the playoffs, man?
I want to play the Packers in the division.
I bet you do. Are you thinking Super Bowl?
Yes.
You should be. Your team looks legit, man.
Thank you.
Well, Jose, we're gonna go, man. 'Cause I gotta eat dinner. I'm
yeah.
starving. Good to talk to you. Congratulations on your Seahawks, man.
Love you guys.
Love you
Good
too,
night.
man.
where we going?
Later, folks.
Later, dude.
See ya.
Later, guys.
Are we gonna get it? End this? We may have to. This is the point we've gotten to with a lot of this stuff. And then that's the thing. Like, I give a lot of credit to Fireman Ed guys like that. When you have a powerful voice and they use it, man, they don't just do the company line. Call it like it is. This is rock bottom for the team. Nobody's happy. We're all fed up, and nobody's buying into it. So the Jets can't sell us some bullshit.
Yeah, no, it's 100% spot on with what Fireman Ed said. The fan base is fed up. You're spending all this money. I mean, the stadium environment, it's complete dump. Like, who wants to go to that gray piece of garbage in December to watch the Patriots and MVP chants at this point in the year? And Jose was pretty spot on. Like, this season, it's hard to do what the Jets did this year in terms of how bad they were, especially the interceptions. Like, they faced 515 pass attempts, and they couldn't pick one pass off. I mean, we talk about who the MVP is going to be, Stafford or Drake May. It's basically the quarterback that played the Jets. They threw for 36 touchdowns, no interceptions. That sounds like an MVP campaign to me. They had 3,600 yards. Like, It is 2025. The interception started getting recorded in 1933. Now, I know the Jets offense looks like it's being played in 1933, but they didn't pass back then. They saw interceptions, multi-interception games happen every single week. Every single week. And they didn't get one. And all this staff is they just equate it to like, oh, luck. It's freak. It's a joke. It's hard. It's hard to do what they did. Really hard. For the Jets, it's hard. And Glenn was right. It's not the same old Jets. It's worse, right? That's been what we've said a lot too.
No, this is as demoralized as I've ever been as a fan. I'm old, dude. I've been around a lot. I've seen a lot of really shitty football.
Yep.
I just don't see it. I don't know what to buy into, and they've got to really sell me on like drugs or something like that, because I can't. Yeah. Even if you go out and get Dante Moore, or you go out and get Kyler Murray, I have no faith in the staff to help them out. And I just honestly believe we're delaying the inevitable. You said it. I said it. This time next year, we're talking about who's the next head coach in New York Jets, and this could all be avoided. This whole circus can be avoided by doing the right thing, getting rid of this guy, and they won't do it.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you. Obviously, my earliest memory was the 2012 Greg McElroy, Jeff Cumberland against the Cardinals game. Should have known to jump ship
against Ryan Lindley.
Yeah, that was my earliest memories. And then I had my Mark Sanchez jersey for my birthday in June, the year he got hurt in the Snoopy Bowl. That was my first Jet jersey. I should have known. I should have known that I was putting on myself. So 2012, like the end of the 2012 onwards, is where the vivid memories begin for me. This is easily the worst season I've ever witnessed from Gaze, and obviously, the Kotite years, it was bad. I mean, Gaze, Kotite, and Glenn are the only three coaches in this history to lose 14 or more games.
Yeah, this is worse than Kotite. This is worse than Gase. This is worse than all that, because you're looking at what you're giving these guys the opportunity to handle going forward, and it's just they don't deserve it. They haven't earned that right, and they're getting it. They're going to double down on a bad mistake, and that's the New York Jets, man. So thank you guys for all calling in. Thank you guys for supporting this channel this year, because this has been difficult, man. I just dread tomorrow's press conference. I have a funny feeling it's gonna piss me off to no end. So, but we appreciate all the support. Yep. Tomorrow night, I think it's Ian on this show. Even Ian's friggin' depressed and angry, and you don't see that much out of him. So tomorrow night will be Ian. Then Thursday night, got Joe Blue at 8:00. We'll be on too. So streaming with him. So kind of different views of this team, and that's it. So thanks for support. We will talk to everybody again next week.
Champion!